I'd like to call the Wednesday, September 25th, 2019, fiscal year 2020 second public budget hearing special call meeting to order at 5:04 p.m. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Guzman. Here. Councilwoman Faircloth. Councilman Maldonado. Here. Councilwoman Bailey. Here. Councilman Roth. Here. Vice Mayor Burgess. Here. Mayor Shelley.
Here. Any additions, deletions, or deferrals? None? Okay. First order of business. I think I'd like to do this kind of like we did the first budget hearing, if there's no objections from my colleagues, and that is combine all items into one discussion, comment, session, and then we'll take each of them individually for a vote.
Certainly. First order of business is I have to read a statement on the millage. It's the City of Homestead's final operating millage rate is 5.9215 mils, which is the same as the previous year's millage rate, and the final voted debt millage rate is 0.4800 mils. The rolled back millage rate is 5.5241 mils. The final operating millage rate of 5.9215 mils is 7.19% above the rollback rate of 5.524 mils. And then I'll read the resolutions, the resolution and the ordinance into the record, and we'll move forward. First is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, adopting the final operating millage rate of ad valorem taxation and adopting the final millage rate for debt service on the general obligation bonds for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2019 and ending September 30th, 2020. And an ordinance, this is the second reading, an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, adopting the budget for each of the several funds and departments of the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2019 and ending September 30th, 2020, approving the capital improvement plan, providing for repealer, severability, and an effective date.
Okay. Any questions or comments from council on tab 1 or tab 2? Seeing none, this is a public hearing open to the public. Any questions or comments on tab 1 or tab 2? If so, please come up and state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any additional comments or council questions from council? And again, for those watching this time around, we vetted this out pretty thoroughly. The first go around during the first budget hearing, we had quite a lengthy presentation by the city staff, taking us through the budget and the details of the budget, and we had some debate up here at council as well. And so this is the second go-around or second reading of this item. Seeing no additional questions or comments from council, do I have a motion to approve on tab 1? Moved. Do I have a second? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Maldonado. Yes. Councilman Roth.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bailey.
Yes.
Councilman Guzman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Faircloth. Vice Mayor Burgess. No. Mayor Shelley.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Do I have a motion to approve on tab 2? Moved. Do I have a second? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bailey.
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado. Yes. Councilman Roth.
Yes.
Councilwoman Faircloth.
Yes.
Councilman Guzman.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess.
Yes.
Mayor Shelley.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Do I have a motion to adjourn the second public budget hearing meeting? Moved. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. We'll take a brief recess and then we'll come back. What time is 5:30? 5:15 for presentations, special presentations. We're adjourned. All right, I'd like to call the council presentation ceremony to order at 5:31. The first presentation is recognition of Officer Brandon Bowens as Officer of the Month for August 2019. If command staff would like to come up here and give that presentation out.
Officer Bowens, front and center. Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Manager, staff, and guests. We'd like to welcome you to the Homestead Police Department's presentation of Officer of the Month for August 2019. and we're going to be here to recognize Officer Brandon Bowens for his performance during August of 2019. During the month of August 2019, Officer Bowens made 14 arrests, majority of them self-initiated, 7 of which were felonies. He handled 121 calls for service and written 31 reports and conducted 35 traffic stops and written 9 field interviews. These are among many things that Officer Bowens did. In particular, on August 25th, 2019, he was on patrol in the area of North Chrome Avenue, an area that's known for a lot of robberies and a lot of illegal activity, during which time he spotted 2 individuals that was involved in appeared to be a verbal dispute. Something you might see to just people just casually arguing. But he paid attention to it and quickly realized that something was wrong. As he approached them, the male victim began to flag Officer Bowens down, and he quickly learned that this was actually a robbery that had just occurred, with the subject still unseen. The subject and the victim could not speak English, and so he had to get a translator there. Quickly learned it was in fact a robbery, no injuries. Attempted to grab a wallet, but it was his quick attention to detail and just patrolling his area, paying attention to what's going on, that he noticed that. And this is just an example of him, of some of the things that he's done, and the other things that officers are doing within the Homestead Police Department. So for that, for the month of August 2019, you're awarded Officer of the Month.
So I also have a certificate of recognition myself, and so my certificate of recognition reads, presented to Officer Brandon Bowens, Homestead Police Department. With gratitude, we thank you for your distinguished service above and beyond the call of duty. The City of Homestead salutes you. Signed by Stephen R. Shelley, Mayor, John Burgess, Vice Mayor, Jennifer Bailey, Councilwoman, Patricia Faircloth, Councilwoman, Julio Guzman, Councilman, Elvis Maldonado, Councilman, and Larry Roth, Councilman. Thank you very much for your service and for all that you do for the City of Homestead. And for keeping our community safe. I'll now turn it over to Chief Roll. I think he'd like to say a few words. Or
Thank you, Mayor. Again, and I always say this when a guy makes Officer of the Month, this young man, born and raised in this community, went to high school here in this community, came from a law enforcement family, and it's just ironic that people talk about community policing and role models, things of that nature. Well, this young man is a role model. I believe it or not, things kind of come in circles. And I say this because, the way he got to me was kind of like fortunate but unfortunate. I grew up with his family, his mom and his dad. And one day, after he lost his father, one of the things his father wanted him to do was become a police officer. And this young man, with his own money, put himself through the police academy and drove to Miami-Dade North Campus for approximately 6 months. And when you hear stories like that, a young kid that went to school here and he's doing what he's doing, basically trying to fulfill his father's and mother's dreams, you just can't overlook that. And since I've been police chief for the last 21 years here in the city of Homestead, I've always taken care of our own. And to me, that's what it's all about. That's the reason why he's here today. And before his dad left this earth, he had a friend that was a friend of mine that lived in Georgia. And that friend of his dad lived in Georgia, made a phone call to me and my wife. Said that we had a young man that just lost his father that wanted to become a police officer. And he asked me would I help him. And as you know, any young man from this community that's trying to do something for himself and better his career and also show you other kids that you don't have to be from West Palm Beach to be a role model. You can be from Homestead or Florida City. That's what it's all about. So today is a perfect example of another young man out of probably, I don't know how many I've hired from this area, but I think our whole department is from this area. And when you do that, you have other kids to look at all of us as role models and say, hey, if that guy or that girl became a police officer in the city of Homestead, and they're successful, and they upholding the law, then I can do the same thing. So it's not about us anymore. It's about what we're doing for this community, for all the young kids out here. So with that being said, I want to congratulate you. Came a long ways. He hadn't been in the department no more than maybe, 6 months, a year? How many months? 7 months. And already he's Officer of the Month. How about that? That's what it's all about. So I think I hit on another good one. Congrats. And very quickly, he works day shift, and Lieutenant Trad is his lieutenant on day shift. Sergeant Guzman is his sergeant on day shift, and I thank those guys as well, along with my Colonel Kennedy, Captain DeJohn, Captain Garland Wright. He's over uniform patrol. And Mayor, thank you for giving me the time. But if he wants to, I know it's kind of, the guys don't like to talk that much, but if he wants to say anything, he can. We give the guys the opportunity to do that. But this is a team effort. And thank all you all for showing up, especially your family, because that's what it's all about. I know your mother got to be proud. So thank you, Mom, for sending us another good one. All right, thank you.
Everybody knows I'm a man of few words, so I'll keep it brief. I like to give thanks to God who's ahead of my life. And I like to give thanks to my family. Thank you guys for raising me and being here in my corner. I'd like to give a special thank you to the command staff, day shift supervisor, Sergeant Guzman, Lieutenant Trad. Thank you for the nomination. And to the city of Homestead, this is a living testament of that old saying, it takes a village to raise one. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here. So I just want to keep doing good work and continue to work hard for the city. Thank you.
Thank you again to our police department for all that they do for the city of Homestead, all the hours they put in, all the hard work they do to keep us safe and keep our community safe. So thank you again. I'd now like to invite up Gabby from the Miami Diaper Bank. Are they here? Come up here and talk a little about Diaper Need Awareness Week and kind of what the need is here in Miami-Dade County. I'll turn the microphone over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor, for having us today. So today actually is day number 3 for Diaper Need Awareness Week. It is Wednesday, right? Okay. Day number 3. It started actually Monday, September 23rd, and it would end on Sunday, September 29th. And what Diaper Need is just 1 in 3 families, American families, are unable to provide clean diapers for their child. So I actually started with Miami Diaper Bank as a volunteer when my son was 6 months. He's now 4. I was lucky enough to see the growth of this organization and to be able to provide a smile for a mother in need. It's a great feeling, and I encourage all of you guys to help us reach our 2 million diaper challenge, which essentially is reaching 2 million diapers by Sunday. We are almost there. We're at 1.99. And then this is a great recognition. There's unfortunately no government assistance programs that cover diapers, so no food and no WIC stamps. And that's why there's over 200 diaper banks across the United States that help families Here in Miami-Dade, we serve over 20 organizations alone, including homeless shelters, foster care shelters, as well as some WIC clinics. So we just want to thank you again for acknowledging that the diaper need exists, and having government officials behind us, backing us up with this, it's a great achievement for us. So thank you so much for everyone, and again, you guys can just follow us on social media at miamidiaperbank.com. If people don't know about the need, they cannot help us solve it. So that's all we ask for. Thank you.
And so we also have a proclamation today to recognize Diaper Need Awareness Week, try to generate some exposure for the cause and help people hopefully donate to the Miami Diaper Bank these very necessary diapers, because again, there's a lot of families out there who are struggling, and diapers are a very expensive item and a very necessary item at all facets. And so the proclamation reads, whereas diaper need, the condition of not having a sufficient supply of clean diapers to ensure that infants and toddlers are clean, healthy, and dry, can adversely affect the health and welfare of infants, toddlers, and their families. And whereas national surveys report that 1 in 3 mothers experiencing diaper need at some time while their children are less than 3 years of age, and 48% of families delay changing a diaper to extend their supply. And whereas there are no government assistance programs for the purchase of provisions of diapers, and a monthly supply of diapers can cost as much as 6% of a full-time minimum wage worker's salary, therefore obtaining a sufficient supply of diapers can cause economic hardship to families. And whereas the average infant or toddler requires an average of at least 50 diaper changes per week over 3 years, and a supply of diapers is generally an eligibility requirement for infant and toddlers to participate in child care programs and quality early education programs. And whereas Homestead is proud to be home to various community organizations that recognize the importance of diapers and helping to provide economic stability for families and distribute diapers to poor families through various channels. Now, therefore, I, Stephen Shelley, the mayor of the city of Homestead, does hereby proclaim this 25th day of September 2019 as Diaper Need Awareness Week in Homestead. Yeah, thank you again for all that you guys do for our community. Next, we have the Storm Ready, Storm Ready, which one are you doing? Okay. First one is recognition of Officer Wayne Rogers' support of local underprivileged children by providing 50 haircuts to begin the new school year. Vice Mayor Burgess.
Thank you. If I could get the Chief and Lieutenant Owens to come up here with me, since they're both kind of responsible along with Officer Rogers, I certainly would appreciate it. This is a little bit different story than Officer of the Month of somebody that went out and made all the arrests. This is about one of the chief's officers and the type of atmosphere that he instills in his men to do hard work. And this was brought to my attention by Colonel Kennedy and Lieutenant Owens. Lieutenant Owens wrote a letter. Officer Rogers, prior to school, went over and found 50 needy children in the area that needed haircuts to make them look good before school. So he went through the trouble of finding them and getting them the time at a local barbershop at, make sure I get this right, the Work of Art Barbering, and Tito over there to make sure. Is Tito here? Come on up, Tito. So it just shows that, you know, these guys are out working hard for us every day, but they're also looking out for the community, and especially the young people that might not have the opportunity that some others are afforded in life. So what he did was he partnered up with Tito here, and before the opening of school, they took 2 days and made sure that they did 50 haircuts for the youth of the area that needed it. And Officer Rogers paid for that out of his own pocket, $1,250. So to me, that is an outstanding job. I know you guys do outstanding jobs of arresting people, but showing that type of community spirit and help to the kids is what's needed in this world, and I certainly do appreciate everything you did, and I know they appreciated it going to school looking sharp the first day of school, too. Chief, you want to say something?
Well, you sure did, because when I saw the letter, it did surprise me because, again, like I said, you know, when I bring these guys in, I bring them in for a reason. I bring them in because, in all honesty, Homestead deserves the cream of the crop, and that's what I look for. And also, again, I always look at homegrown kids, role models, another role model. That's what we're all about. What this guy did is remarkable. You know, he hadn't been here that long. Roger's been here maybe, 2 years now. And I remember, you know, I keep saying, I remember when the guy walked in the door, he had a 4-year degree. He quit his job to become a reserve officer for the city of Homestead to show me and show my command staff in this city that he definitely wanted this position. He worked for $1 a year. When a guy does that, you know it's coming from his heart. And when the time came for me to give this guy a full-time position, I didn't blink an eye because I know what I was getting. I was getting one of the nicest young men here in Homestead that went to school here in Homestead. Homestead guy, that's what it's all about. So with that being said, Officer Rogers, again, and thank you, Vice Mayor. He didn't let me, I told him just a while ago, I said, he didn't let me down. This time I think I got it right again. So thank you, appreciate you, and also, thanks a million.
Thank you. And we've got a outstanding service plaque to give, presented to Officer Wayne Rogers in recognition of your dedication and commitment to the youth of our community from myself and the rest of the City Council. Thank you very much for what you did. Tito, you want to say anything?
I can tell you this is not what this was about. I was just patrolling like I usually do. When it came to me, you know what? God spoke to me. I want you to take care of the kids of this community. And the first number he said was 50. And I'm like, God, 50, that's, I don't know. But my mother, born and raised in the church, she's always told me obedience is better than sacrifice. And I thought it robbery to not be obedient to God's direction for me. And I was sitting in a chair, getting a haircut, my bi-weekly haircuts. I don't cut much, but, and ran the idea by my brother Tito here. And I know the sacrifice was even bigger for him, considering the fact that it was opening school weekend, and he sacrificed his chair for 2 days so that we can get 50 kids in, 25 on Saturday, 25 on Sunday. Most barbers don't work on Sunday. He came in on Sunday, opened his shop up on Sunday so we can get this done. All right? Thank you for that, brother. But I also want to get, again, I didn't want anyone to know about this. I was just being obedient to God's word, and I don't know how it got out, but next thing I know, I started getting...
we have the same barber.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how it got out.
And next thing I know, late Saturday night, I started getting Cash App notifications, looking down on my phone, and I'm getting Cash App notifications from officers in the department who found out about what was going on. The likes of Officer Gabriel, Sergeant Guzman, Officer Raul. Forgive me if I'm missing you. Tone it down. But it wasn't just me. It was a department effort. And you guys, I thank you. I thank you.
Thank you.
Next presentation is Storm Ready Certification Presentation by Vice Mayor Burgess.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm pleased to inform you that the City of Homestead, again, has been recertified as a storm-ready community by the National Weather Service And I'm going to call up our very own hurricane man, Mr. Stephen Taylor, to do the introductions and the information that we needed to go along with this.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, Mayor Shelley, Council. With me this evening is Robert Molina from the National Weather Service. He's our warning coordination meteorologist, and we worked hand in hand in recertifying the city of Homestead as a storm-ready community. And Mr. Molina has a nice presentation for us this evening, so I'll turn the microphone to him.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, City Council, and everyone, staff, and everyone else here. Normally, when a meteorologist from the National Weather Service, or really, I guess, any meteorologist visits your community, you know, people get worried, right? Is there a storm coming, or maybe a storm just passed? But I'm here for some really good news. As you heard, Homestead has been re-recognized or recertified as a storm-ready community. So what does that mean? Basically, well, first of all, Storm Ready is a national, it's a national recognition program. It started about 20 years ago. Homestead has been a Storm Ready community since 2013. So this is the second time that we've renewed that recognition. And basically what it involves is just working with the city and the city working with us to make sure that all the plans and procedures are in place so that we can deal with and handle any weather situation that we might have, whether it's you know, from a big hurricane all the way down to a local flood or a local tornado. It's about weather preparedness and making sure that everyone has the information and tools necessary to protect themselves, protect your homes, your jobs, your families, everything that's close to us. Unfortunately, Storm Ready doesn't put a bubble over us, which means, you know, it doesn't protect us or keep storms away. But it just, you know, it ensures, again, that we are ready to deal with the next storm. So I just, if I may, just take a couple minutes here just to read a letter, and it's addressed to Mayor Shelley. On behalf of the National Weather Service Miami Forecast Office's Storm Ready Advisory Board, I would like to congratulate you on the City of Homestead's successful recognition as a storm-ready community. Homestead's one of only 4 cities in Miami-Dade County that's been able to attain this special recognition. And the success is clearly a result of your vision, leadership, hard work, and commitment to the residents, visitors, and staff of Homestead. And particularly, I'd like to recognize Colonel Scott Kennedy, Major Josh Claude of Homestead PD, and also, of course, Steve Taylor here, Hurricane Man. You know, it's nice to not have the title Hurricane Man for once. Yeah, I'll pass it on. Of emergency management for, really, they were instrumental in spearheading the city through the application and recognition process. So their work is to be commended for this. And in closing, I will read the certificate of recognition here. So it says Storm Ready Community, presented to Homestead, Florida for improving the timeliness and effectiveness of hazardous weather warnings through a diligent and proactive approach of increased communication and preparedness. This community, Homestead, is recognized as storm ready, and I present this on behalf of our meteorologist in charge, Dr. Pablo Santos, who unfortunately could not be here tonight. So once again, congratulations.
Thank you, Robert. And we also got a nice sign that was made up for us, custom made for the city of Homestead. And we're going to be, hopefully maybe we can get some more and put them up in high traffic areas around the city so that people know that we're ready.
Thank you. And I think we proved that we were ready when Irma came through a couple of years ago, and I know that we're even more prepared at this point of the season. So thank you very much for your recognition. It means a lot to us. We do, as you mentioned, we do a lot of hard work to get ready and to stay storm ready. So we thank you for your recognition, and hopefully there's nothing out there for us in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Burgess. Our next presentation is recognition of students who are introducing an app called Literati and Homestead mentoring groups that would be using the app for community cleanups. Councilwoman Bailey.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I am very excited to introduce some environmental stewards in our community. But first, a little trash talk. So this is my first, hopefully of many, larger scale initiatives to help bring awareness the impact that neighborhood cleanups, reducing, reusing, and recycling can mean for our community. Flashback to my bedroom in middle school. Posters on my wall of TLC and Boys to Men. Probably lost half of you, but there was one that I will never forget. It was a picture of the Statue of Liberty, and she was covered up to her shoulders in garbage. And below it, it read, "Throughout history, many great civilizations have been buried. None, however, by their own garbage." For some reason, that has stuck with me. Every time I see trash on the floor, I think of that poster. As a world, I think we're facing some very big issues that have some very daunting solutions. But as a community, we can make a huge difference with community cleanups. Some of the biggest benefits of community cleanups are increased property values, right? And real estate appearance is everything. Safety. We're getting to know our neighbors. We're clearing litter that could cause accidents. And lastly, an increased sense of community pride. So at this time, I would like to invite up the group that has inspired this first initiative, Ms. Diaz, Ms. Purcell, and their second and third grade environmental stewards from Air Base Academy. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here today. We're very grateful and thankful for the invitation. I would like to first start out by thanking Pamela Ralden. She's one of our Airbase parents and volunteer, and also our councilwoman, Ms. Jennifer Bailey. Thank you so much for the opportunity given to us today to be able to share with you all an environmental and innovative tool called the Literati app. Before I let the boys and girls introduce the app and the information about it, I just want to say that Literati was introduced to me about 4 years ago by a co-teacher that I worked with, Ms. Cheryl Burgess. So I just want to thank her because her providing me that information has inspired me and many other students, colleagues, and school leaders to be part of this innovative and environmental initiative. So 3 years ago, I introduced the Literati app to my boys and girls with the objective that they would become more passionate about our planet, and has actually been a great success because not only are we using it in our school, they're also using it in the community. And I really appreciate that I could instill that in these students and they can actually be mentors for other boys and girls, because these young boys and girls are also working with the older students in our school and vice versa, and that brings this global awareness that we know that we can target and find solutions to these local and global problems. So I would also like to share that Ms. Purcell, she's also one of the teachers at our school that works very, very closely with the environmental team, and she would like to share a couple things.
This is a wonderful opportunity for Airbase. We have taken a little seed and we've planted it, and we have grown to a state award-winning Florida Green School. We have also gone on and we are now a United States Department of Education Green Ribbon School. That's just the beginning for us. Every day we're doing a little something extra. And this is a perfect example. We have the little kids basically showing upper academy students, middle school students, look, you threw something down. Let me get a picture of it. And that has taught the older children. The second graders always come to my classes and they teach. They feel good that they've been able to teach the older students. And the children go home and they share at home. And from there, we end up just continuing the ripple effect. When we go to Bonanza, the children do it at Bonanza. And from there, again, others see it, others pick up the idea. This was started by two children. They went for a walk with their dad in the forest. The children noticed trash. The father came up with an idea. He is the co-founder of this global movement. The idea is that you notice something and you take care of it. You don't just walk away from it. From that, what can be recycled and what is trash? Cities in California have saved millions upon millions of dollars through this app. Restaurants have been shown where your little sauce packets always end up on the ground. The restaurant saved millions of dollars by taking the information through this Literati app and not producing this piece of plastic. They didn't need it. Nobody wanted it. It was always on the ground. So, you know, it's hard for us to really, okay, what's the big deal? Yeah, okay, we need to pick up trash. But when you see the dollar signs behind it, when you see the inspiration behind it, when you see in black and white the movement and the ripple effect, that's what counts. Inspiration starts with an idea. And you have in front of you some very nervous children, and they're going to do fine. And here we start.
Hello, my name is Luna Espinal. My name is Sierra Espinal. And today we will be presenting Literati. Literati is an app that you can use to track down trash at any time, at any place, at any moment. We first started using Literati in Miss Diaz's class when I was in 2nd grade. And we use it now to, when we go to beaches, we clean up. When we go on walks, we also clean up with Literati. Thank you. Imagine a world without litter. Each year, 14 billion pounds of trash flow into our oceans. 4 trillion cigarettes are thrown on the ground. $11 billion is spent cleaning it up. Litter destroys the environment, kills wildlife, and poisons our food system. Yet, strangely, there is no sufficient data. Literati is an app where you can take pictures, document it, and it can be shown all over the world. What is Literati? And how can you be part of this community? Download the Literati app on iPhone or Android. It's free. Number 1, create an account on the app and start taking pictures of trash and labeling pictures. How does Literati app track your data? Measure your impact via online. Identifies brands. Make sure you hashtag a brand. For example, hashtag bag of Doritos. Geotagged map will be available online. Timestamp seen online. How can you check what have you seen, how many people have picked up? You can go up to the link up there, and when you go up there, the map will show up. You search up where you live. For example, for us, it will be Air Base Elementary. when we go to airbase, you're going to see these numbers, for example, 1K, 240 million, and any numbers really. For example, this piece of paper was found 6 months ago. It will be time-stamped.
All the garbage we've collected at airbase.
That's all the garbage we've collected these days. The piece of, what does it say?
A Band-Aid. It was a Band-Aid.
A Band-Aid was found 5 months ago. Plastic found 5 months ago. Another piece of plastic found 5 months ago. There's a lot of trash we picked up here. Another piece of plastic found 5 months ago. Okay. And another piece of plastic straws.
Boards right there. This is a little further away, but they're doing well.
In 2014, in United States, we're the most people to collect trash. Right now, the Netherlands have collected the most trash in the world. These are some things that we have found in our wonderful school year. For example, the number one thing, plastic. So now in our cafeteria, we don't use plastic straws. These are pictures of students in our school that have been collecting trash in different places. For example, Banzana Beach Cleanup School and other places. Individually, we can make a difference, but together we can make an impact.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. So, signs of the times. My dream started with a poster up on my wall, and your dream started with an app. I am so incredibly happy to see this fire burning inside you, and I know that it is going to be huge. Speaking of huge impacts in our community, some of our favorite mentoring programs are here. If I could have Men Molding Men, I Am Different, BYOL, and Kicks join us, please. So students, if you guys can scooch in together. So while everybody gets situated, we have a certificate for each one of you students. It reads, Environmental Stewardship Award. Inspired by your efforts, Councilwoman Jennifer Bailey, along with the Southwest Advisory Committee and 4 of our awesome mentoring programs, have pledged to do at least 2 cleanups this year. That's a lot of math to do so late at night. Come scoot in, guys. So, that is a lot of cleanups, and that was all inspired by you guys. If I could have a representative say a little bit about your program, how you can be reached, and the areas that you serve. Thank you, sir.
Yes, my name is Jacob Hurd. I'm one of the mentees of the program Men Molding Men. Men Molding Men has mentored to me towards my purpose and motivated me to want to become a future leader to win. I've learned that a mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself. I believe that every kid is one caring adult away from being a success story. The Men Molding Men program has taught me to believe in myself, kind of like the story of Sammy, who was an 8-year-old in art class, and he was drawing a picture, and his teacher asked him, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm drawing a picture of God." And she said, "No one knows what God looks like." He looked up to her and said, "They will know when I finish my picture." Thank you, Men Molding Men, for giving me the same confidence in myself.
Okay, real briefly, I'm James Hawkins. I'm one of the founders. I'm also homegrown here. Just pitched a vision to these gentlemen here. I assembled some of the best leaders, professionals in the community. One of the things as an individual growing up in this community, I always wanted to come back and give back to a community that gave so much to me. And these gentlemen has joined me on the journey. I would just introduce him, Mr. Levy Clayton. Okay, he's our environment gentleman. He's responsible for that. And everybody knows Willie Carpenter, any homegrown. And Kevin Staggers, homegrown. James Butts, homegrown. Kenny Fountain, neighbor. But yeah, we can be reached. We have a site on Facebook, Triple M mentoring programs. So if anybody's interested, and our goal is to simply just provide directions, guidance, purpose, and motivation by encouraging, exposing, educating, enrichment, and empowering our kids. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Can I have the ladies from I Am Different? Can you guys come stand up front here, please? Don't be shy. Miss Shalonda Caldwell.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shalonda Caldwell, and I am the founder of I Am Different Incorporation. I Am Different Incorporation is a nonprofit organization that offers free enrichment workshops, monthly workshops to the young girls ages 8 to 18 in our Florida City and Homestead communities. The benefits of our mentoring is it increases the self-esteem and self-confidence of our young girls. It provides one-on-one mentoring, and we focus on academic and personal development. I have some of my girls here tonight, and they're going to recite our motto. Thank you.
Beautiful, ladies. Can I have Trayvon Brown from BYOL?
Hi, good evening. My name is Trayvon Brown. I was born and raised in Homestead, Florida. I'm the founder and CEO of BYOL, which means Build Your Own Legacy. BYOL is a youth nonprofit organization, a mentoring program, which motivates, uplifts, and inspires the youth to be the best that they can be. I started the program when I was 16 years old, which I want to impact the lives of the youth in my community to give them the tools that they need to be the best that they can be. And I believe that as a unity, we can make a difference in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, Noah from Kicks.
Hi everybody, my name is Noah Nemney. We're from Youth for Christ Kicks. This is Tadarius. These are some of our high school student leaders. So Tadarius wanted to explain what we do.
Hello, my name is Tadarius Bell, and I'm a volunteer at Kicks and a freshman at Homestead Sierra High, and I'm going to tell you the mission of Kicks. The mission of Kicks is to instill Christ into kids emotionally, academically, and spiritually. And also we have adults and teen leaders to build a relationship with the kids and help build a relationship with God. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So these high school students that you see here are the ones who lead our elementary after-school ministry. So it's very fun because they grew up through our program, they've been invested in by adults, and now they get to be the ones who give back to our students. So we're excited to use literati with our elementary kids. Jakiri was saying today, we used to have to do this all the time, walk and clean up. So it's going to be a good thing for us to get to do it together and continue that legacy. So thank you. And you can reach us. Best way really is just coming into our building. So our building is on Roby George. It's by Roby George Park on Maury Drive. And you can look us up online and find our phone number there if you'd like as well. So thank you.
Thank you. I would like to acknowledge our chairman, Chairman Smith of SWAC, and Miss Mallory Stiles. It's been a long day, I'm sorry. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody. One quick thing about this Literati app that didn't get, that wasn't talked about. So one of the things that the founder said is that each city has a unique fingerprint. And with this fingerprint, it not only shows us a source of our problems, but it helps us create paths to a solution. So that is where I think the magic within this app happens, is us being able to pinpoint what is the majority of the issue in our area. So I thank you all. I would like to allow Mr. Levy Clayton to say a few words, as he has done a lot for our environment.
It's always a pleasure to see all these kids up here and adults. Our organization is about making a difference in growth and development of these young people that we are mentoring. And I just want to appreciate everybody that is up here, appreciate my group. We work closely together to make a difference in these kids' life and growth and development. Thank you.
Okay, if I can get everybody to squeeze in here, the point of this was to create a visual of what community togetherness can become. Everybody up front here, we'll all get in our tippy toes if we have to. But this is what community togetherness looks like. These few students here, along with their fabulous teachers, have inspired this group to start an initiative. So, mentoring programs, my question to you is, if these few students have inspired this, then when I invite you back next May, before school is out, we are gonna show some big, big results, right? Fantastic. So, with that being said, if you would like to be part of that initiative, please download the Literati app, as it was mentioned before, and join Homestead Community Pride Cleanup, HCPC. You look under your local challenges, and there we will pop up. You can form your own group. Just join our cause. It'll show your group's efforts, and it'll show us our efforts together. So, big thank you, faculty of Air Base, for continuing to go above and beyond. My amazing SWAC members, these amazing mentoring programs for getting out there in our community and making a difference. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bailey. Great presentation. Councilwoman Faircloth would like to say a few things.
To everybody have their seats.
Sure.
Thank you, Mayor. And as everyone have their seats, I just was reflecting as I sat here and I viewed all the presentations. I'd first like to commend Air Base K-8 Center and the wonderful teachers that I've had the privilege to work alongside of, Ms. Diaz, Ms. Purcell, Mr. and Mrs. Gandia. All of us served at Air Base together, and it was a pleasure to work with all of you. And it's very encouraging to see the work that you continue to do at Air Base K-8 Center. So congratulations to you and the students. But I also want to say that all of these presentations have been so refreshing. There's so much been said in the community lately, and it's good to see these presentations and these individuals who represent the true spirit of this community. We have men molding men, we have young ladies being mentored, we have kids who are helping and inspiring us to reduce our carbon footprint. We have the Southwest Advisory Committee who's working very hard in the Southwest community. This is what it's about. This is what should be communicated. This is what mentoring is like. A lot of people talk, but not many are rolling up their sleeves, putting in the sweat equity, and doing the work. You can travel 1,000 miles, but if you haven't taken anyone along the journey, you've gone nowhere. You can climb the highest mountains, but if you haven't carried anyone up there with you, you've done nothing. This is what it's about, putting in the hard work. So thank all of you for these fantastic presentations, and it was just so refreshing and encouraging for me to witness them all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Very inspiring words. Thank you. That concludes our special presentations. We'll now be adjourned and then give the clerk a few minutes to switch over, and then we'll start our regularly scheduled council meeting. Okay, I'd like to call the Wednesday, September 25th, 2019 council meeting to order at 6:28 p.m. This evening, we will have the invocation by Pastor Jose Santiago, pastor of the Homestead Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance with Councilwoman Bailey and Homestead Police Explorers. Would you please stand?
Thank you, Mayor Shelley, Vice Mayor Maldonado, Council Maldonado, Council Lattimore, Vice Mayor Burgess, Council Farclo, Council Guzman, City Manager, thank you. Let's pray. Holy Father and all-powerful God, we thank you for the privilege you give us of being here in this place. Thank you for the leaders you have placed for the direction of our city. We ask you, Lord, to continue giving them your wisdom for every decision they have to make. Reward them for the work they do. Guard and bless their families. We ask you, Lord, that the city of Homestead be protected and continue to be the best place to live. Protect the police officer who risks their life every day for our safety. Your blessing be upon them. To you be the glory and honor in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Honor guard. Halt. Right. Face. Present. Arms. Order. Arms. Left. Face. Forward. March.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Ross? Here. Councilwoman Bailey? Here. Councilman Maldonado? Councilman Guzman? Here. Councilwoman Fairclough? Here. Vice Mayor Burgess? Here. Mayor Shelley?
Here. Any additions, deletions, or deferrals? None. Next is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes carry. Public hearings.
Please be advised, the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment upon any of these items, please indicate the item number you would like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff have made their presentations on each item. Swearing in, all testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to either be cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the council to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. The full agenda packet on each item is hereby entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. In accordance with Code Section 2-591, any lobbyist must register before addressing the council on any of the following items. At this time, council members must disclose any ex parte communications concerning any items on the agenda.
Vice Mayor Burgess.
Yeah, items 15 through 19 spoke to the representative of the applicant.
Yeah, same for me as well. At tabs 15 through 19, I spoke with the lobbyist and the representative for the applicant. Councilwoman Fairclough.
Same as well. Spoke to the lobbyist and the applicant for tabs 15 through 19.
Councilwoman Bailey.
Tabs 15 through 19 for me as well.
Councilman Guzman.
Tabs 15 through 19 for me as well.
Councilman Roth.
Same as everyone else.
All right. Me too. Councilman Maldonado, same as well? Same as well, okay.
All right, at this time, the clerk will swear in any persons who wish to testify on any quasi-judicial item. So anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on these items this evening, please stand, raise your right hand to be sworn by the clerk.
Please repeat after me. I state your name. Hereby swear or affirm that the information I present shall be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Thank you. You may be seated.
So, Mayor, tabs 11 and 12 pertain to the Showbiz Cinemas project.
Okay. Can we combine those? Read them together?
So I can introduce both of those. You can talk about each and then take a separate vote on each.
All right. Any objections from
I'm
council?
sorry, 13 as well.
No? Okay, go ahead. No
So
objections.
tab 11 is a final order of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting a waiver of the location requirements requested by Showbiz Cinemas LLC to permit the sale of beer, wine, and alcoholic beverages for on-premise consumption in conjunction with the operation of an indoor commercial entertainment and amusement establishment located at 100 South Chrome Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. Tab 12 is a final order of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting a waiver of the hours of sale required by Showbiz Cinemas to permit the sale of beer, wine, and alcoholic beverages for on-premise consumption from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. on Sundays in conjunction with the operation of an indoor commercial entertainment and amusement establishment located at 100 South Chrome Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. And tab 13 is the final order of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting a certificate of use requested by Showbiz Cinemas LLC to permit the sale of beer, wine, and alcoholic beverages for on-premises consumption in conjunction with the operation of an indoor commercial entertainment and amusement establishment located at 100 South Chrome Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Staff report on those three items?
Yes, sir. The staff is recommending that the mayor and council approve each of the three items: the waiver of location permit, the waiver of hours of sale to permit the on-premises consumption of beer, wine, and alcoholic beverages, and the final order granting the request for the certificate of use. We reviewed all of them. We're suggesting the waiver for the location permit because a survey was provided to us, and the application indicates the site is within 400 feet of another bar, lounge, church, package store, or public park, but it is in our downtown area. We did review the certificate of use, and it's in compliance with Chapter 3 of our alcoholic beverages code within the City of Homestead. So again, we're recommending approval.
Any questions or comments from council? Seeing none, this is a public hearing. Any questions or comments from the public on tabs 11 through 13? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. We need to take these each individually, correct?
Yes.
All right, do I have a motion to approve tab 11? Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Fairclough? Yes. Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bailey?
Yes.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Do I have a motion to approve tab 12? Do I have a second? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bailey?
Yes.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Councilwoman Fairclough?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Do I have a motion to approve tab 13?
Move it.
Moved. Do I have a second? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fairclough?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Councilwoman Bailey?
Yes.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 14.
Yes, tab 14 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting tentative RE-PLAT approval to modify the name of the plat to Seascape Point and remove the condominium use restriction for a portion of Tract A located on an approximately 18.52 acre parcel of land within the existing Keys Cove 2 Keys Garden residential subdivision west of Southwest 152nd Avenue between South Canal Drive and Town Center Boulevard, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
City Attorney, hold on one second. I went a little bit too fast. Councilman Guzman had a question on the prior item, so I'd like to go back and let him ask that question or get that information. Councilman Guzman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In terms of the prior item with the Showbiz Cinemas and the liquor license that they were submitted an application for. There has been some other applicants that also submitted applications as well. And what I'd like to do is use this opportunity to kind of try to clarify why certain items don't get on an agenda as quick as others. And I had a conversation with staff earlier today, specifically Linda Blanco, and she says that we ought to use a sort of like a flow chart or a diagram so that when people come and apply for these types of licenses, they have a very clear picture of what they're supposed to do first, what they're supposed to do second, and it'll just walk them through the whole thing, because what happens is they get very frustrated and then they think the city's giving them the runaround. So if we had some way we can put this on our website, so when an applicant decides to apply for a liquor license, they're gonna know exactly what to do. So if staff can help us out with adding that to our website, or if my colleagues have any other ideas, I'm open to listen to that. But some of the people out there that are trying to do things in the downtown district are getting a bit frustrated with the process.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Guzman. Did you want staff, any response from staff before, or any?
Does staff think we ought to put that on?
Hold on.
We'll do it. We'll take care of it.
Will it be on the website, or will it be some sort of handout that you'd give the applicants?
We'll do both. We'll put a handout together that explains or kind of flow charts the whole process. We'll have copies of that in the office. We'll hand it out to the applicants. We'll also put it on the website.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Perfect. Thank you, Councilman Guzman. And I think that's a good suggestion, good recommendation. Typically, that's usually helps out once the applicant knows exactly what the process is on the front side. They seem to be more happy. Where they usually get upset is if they don't quite understand what the process is, or they feel that they were following the process to find out maybe the process was different than what they thought it was. So I think that's a good suggestion to make sure everyone's clear up front. So thank you, Councilman Guzman. City Attorney, back to tab 14. You have read the resolution. Staff report.
Yes, sir. We are recommending the mayor and council approve this request for the tentative replat for the approval of approximately 18.52 acre parcel generally located west of Southwest 152nd Avenue between South Canal and Town Center Boulevard within the Keys Cove 2 residential subdivision. This, on March 7th, 2005, the City Council adopted Resolution 205-0339 approving a site plan there for 523 condominium dwelling units and 406 townhome dwelling units on what is approximately 109 acres. The underlying plat, the Keys Garden, was approved by a resolution that same year. The tentative replat is for the survey entitled Seascape Point, as prepared by their surveyors for this year. The subject property is developed by the applicant, intends for it to remain so. The applicant intends to replat the portion of Tract A, which is now called Keys Garden, to Seascape Point, and remove the restriction for condominium use and develop apartments instead. So we're recommending approval of this.
And so the product has already been built at this point, right? It's in existence, people live in it, and they are looking to now, so what's the effective result or effect of what they're asking for?
Effectively, they're changing the name of the plat, and then they're removing the restriction on the rest of the units to be developed as condominiums and develop them as townhomes.
Okay.
Well, that's
Well, here-
the other one, I'm sorry.
yeah,
So, but they
apartments.
are removing the restriction for the condominium use there in order to develop the apartments instead.
Are these already built out units? I mean, people, or
No.
there are still some additional units to be built in this?
These are built out. The ones that we're going to deal with next are not built out. Sometimes get the two confused, but
Okay, so without this, they can't use them as apartments? Is that the difference here? I mean, because my understanding is they're being rented now already, or?
they're removing the restriction of them being condominiums, so they would be able to use them as apartments. I think that's a legal distinction, right? There'd be fee simple instead of rental condos.
Okay. And any questions or comments from council? Councilman Guzman.
Typically, tab 14, 15, and 16 kind of go together. Is it the same?
No, tab 14 stands alone, correct? I think it's a different, same area, but different project.
14 stands alone, 15, and the other three go together. So 14 is a standalone. The other, which is right next door, is going through a similar replat process, site plan process, but in the in the process of changing their application, they necessitated 3 variances, which we'll discuss next. But these are 2 separate issues. 14 is separate from the others that we'll be doing in a moment.
That's all. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Burgess.
Thank you. Mr. Cordino, if I could, what effect does this have on the city with this change that they're asking for? What does that?
It has no effect on us as a city, this one here.
We can, all of our rules of housing apply, and, excuse me, would still apply that are in place today.
Yes, sir. There's no effect. It's effectively already built, so there's no real impact to the community. There's no density changes. There's no infrastructure impacts. We'll see later, there are impacts
Right, on a different item. But on this item, particular item, there is no effect to the city that's detrimental or anything. It's just.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Councilman Guzman.
So a question to the applicant would be, if it's going to change from condos to apartments, then there would be no sale of condos. There would only be rental units for apartments. Am I understanding that correctly?
Please state your name, name and address.
Mayor, Jerry Proctor, attorney, 9130 South Dayland Boulevard. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is about 19 acres of the Keys Garden plat. It is not quite 100% built. It's about 95% built. There is room and approval for about 14 more units. There's 278 already built. So it's almost 100% built. What happened was, over a decade ago, the project was platted and approved by a predecessor board of yours, and 90%, 95% of it was built. There were some units that were conveyed as condominiums, not a large number. The recession occurred, and the owner at that time, different than today's owner, bought back those units and converted the project, which has a townhouse style, into a rental operation. And so the units that are there, which is 278 on our particular property, are rented. When our client took title and began to look at title and look at city approvals, they realized this is not a condominium, and it was approved as such. And we're really trying to go back now and fix that. It's something that occurred because of the recession, and the units are built in accordance with the approval of the city many years ago. And the earlier question, I don't think there's really an impact to the city in terms of services. The units are built as they were supposed to be built. They're occupied. It's an attractive development. There's a very small part of it that is left to be built, but about 95% of it is built and occupied by residents.
So just to be clear, it's being used now as a rental community under the condo style of ownership?
The units are rented. The actual construction is what I would call a townhouse style. You have parking right in front of the units, but the units is being operated as a rental facility.
Your client has no intent to sell off any of the units to individual buyers?
No, we don't.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilman. Any additional questions from council, either for staff or for the applicant while the applicant's here? All right, seeing none, this is a public hearing. I'll open it to the public. Any questions or comments from the public on tab 14? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any additional questions or comments from council? If none, do I have a motion to approve tab 14? Moved. Do I have a second? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bailey? Councilman Maldonado? Councilman Guzman? Councilwoman Faircloth? Councilman Ross? Yes. Vice Mayor Burgess?
No.
Mayor Shelley?
No.
The motion carries.
Tab 15, so tab 15 through 19, do my colleagues want to go ahead and combine those as well? Have the city attorney read them all, then we'll have one big discussion and then vote on them separately. Is that okay with everybody? Okay, so we'll go ahead and combine those. Go ahead, city attorney.
Yes, tab 15 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting a variance request from section 1002 lot area, the Village's Homestead Plan Unit Development Standards to permit minimum lot area of 1,742 square feet, where 1,800 square feet is required for townhome dwelling units located on an approximately 37.1 acre parcel within the Keys Cove 2 Palm Breeze residential subdivision, generally located west of Southwest 152nd Avenue between South Canal Drive and Town Center Boulevard, is legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. Tab 16 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting a variance request from section 1008.4 corner lot setbacks of the PUD standards to permit a minimum required side yard for corner lots of 1 foot and 2 inches, where a minimum required side yard for corner lots shall be 15 feet for townhome dwelling units located on an approximately 37.1 acre parcel within Keys Cove 2 Palm Breeze residential subdivision, generally located west of 152nd Avenue between South Canal Drive and Town Center Boulevard, is legally described in Exhibit A, providing for an effective date. Tab 17 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting a variance request from section 1009 rear yard of the PUD standards to permit a minimum rear yard of 15 feet, where 25 feet is required for townhome dwelling units located on 37.1 acre parcel within Keys Cove 2 residential subdivision, generally located west of 152nd Avenue between South Canal Drive, Town Center Boulevard, is legally described in Exhibit A, providing for an effective date. Tab 18 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting tentative RE-PLAT approval for the development of the remaining 192 condominium dwelling units as townhome dwelling units on an approximately 37.1 acre parcel of land located within the existing Keys Cove 2 Palm Breeze residential subdivision, west of 152nd Avenue between South Canal Drive and Town Center Boulevard, as legally described in Exhibit A, providing for an effective date. And finally, tab 19 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting site plan modification approval for the development of the remaining 192 condominium dwelling units as townhome dwelling units on approximately 37.1 acre parcel of land located within the existing Keys Cove 2 Palm Breeze residential subdivision, west of Southwest 152nd Avenue, between South Canal Drive and Town Center Boulevard. It's legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Staff report on those items?
Yes, sir. So I'll try to summarize. This was necessitated, I believe, and the applicant will speak to it in greater detail, from a change from condo to townhomes. And so the original item, which was condominium units, was approved all the way back in 2005. And so when they make this change, they put themselves out of compliance with the things that were approved and what the code says for the setbacks in the townhome code in the PUD. So therefore, we're okay. We believe that the tentative plat and the site plan meet the requirements, but the setbacks for now the fee simple buildings would not meet the requirements for the rear yard, the total lot area, or the corner yard. And so those things were all brought to the Planning and Zoning Board and denied, and they're here for your consideration.
Any questions, comments from council? No? You guys like to hear from the applicant? All right, the applicant would like to come up, state your name and address for the record, and kind of explain what the reason for the request is.
Good evening. Hugo Arza, 701 Brickell Avenue, joined today by my colleague Alejandro Arias, as well as Carl Albertson of DR Horton, and our architect, Andrew Starr. Thank you all for the opportunity to present before you. I'm going to grab this. I end up usually makes it easier to talk with the board in my hand. The item that you previously heard, and these items are somewhat related in geography, if nothing else, but there are also some other sort of areas in which we're a little related. We're talking about the northern half of Palm Breeze. All of Palm Breeze, which is this area and this area, was approved pursuant to the resolution back in '05 that Mr. Corradino referenced for over 900 total units to be approved. This pod down here was always approved as a fee simple, non-condo development, and at this point has been completely finished out. This pod in its entirety was approved under one plat with just one boundary plat, because that's how you would do a condo, as a condo project. And the Great Recession hit particularly hard for condo financing. It became very difficult to finance after the Great Recession. And so even though other portions of Keys Gate and other portions of Homestead certainly have bounced back incredibly, this particular area has struggled to get a little traction, principally, certainly D.R. Horton believes, because it became very difficult to sell condo products. There would be no financing and financing for buyers involved. The item that you heard previously basically dealt with the constructed units that are there today. These 5 items that you have before you that I'm representing D.R. Horton as a contract purchaser on deal with this portion of the property, which is unbuilt. Unbuilt with an approved site plan that would allow them today to go in and simply build the balance of the project. And given the conversation you just had previously, what they could do if they simply built out the balance of the project is, if they were so inclined or if that was their business model, is they could finish and use it as a rental community, which is exactly what's happening with the current owner of the entire site, who you just heard about retaining a portion of the built project as a rental community. D.R. Horton, of course, as a home builder and home seller, is not interested in running a rental community. It's just not their business model. And so they approached us, and we worked with staff as to how we could take the exact same project. We didn't want to touch elevations. We didn't want to touch density. The road network's in place. It's been built. Water sewer infrastructure's in place. How do we take the same buildings and simply, for lack of a better word and in a bit of a layman's terms, how do we just place the lot lines in there so that each one of those can be sold individually in fee simple? So that the 192 units, and actually it'll be 190, and I'll explain shortly why we're reducing it by 2 units, reducing it, not increasing it. Each of those units could be sold in fee simple format, each to an individual buyer that would obviously take ownership to their unit. Simple as that change may be, let's take the existing site plan that's approved, let's not add a single unit to it, let's take the elevations that are approved, let's put the buildings exactly where they're approved, because the road network's in place and that's the only place those buildings can go. Let's do all of that. Simple as that is, just to be able to do it as fee simple, we need 5 applications before all of you, as you guys have come to know. Sometimes the code kind of makes you jump through a few hurdles. Those applications are pretty simple. One is to re-plat the property, which makes sense, right? We need to create these lot lines. What the plat does, as all of you know, and having heard many plats before, is it allows for the legal descriptions to be individually for each particular unit. And so the re-plat, I think, is fairly straightforward. One is a site plan modification. The site plan modification principally is because I referenced that we were reducing. We're actually removing a couple of units and adding a second or additional amenity area. So there's a current amenity area. I'll use the site plan that we have. There's an amenity area in the center of the project, and we are proposing another amenity area here. So rather than building another small building here, we are removing that and putting in a pool and gazebo area. So reducing it and providing for a little bit more of an amenity. And so that necessitates the site plan.
Can I interrupt you?
Yes, of course. A pool, yes. Just no building, no permanent, just a pool and gazebo area, just a place to congregate. And then probably the most difficult part to explain of this request, because it's the variance word, and so folks are inclined to believe that if you're asking for variance, it's because you don't want to comply with the code, or because you're trying to squeeze something extra, because you're trying to get more units. Again, in this case, we can build the same number of units today and do it as a rental community, whether it's D.R. Horton or whether it's someone else, and do all of that for the same number of units. The variance has come about because, and I finally struggled a bit to come up with a way to show it, but what I've done is I've basically taken and asked our architect to take what it looks like today, how it's approved today, and what could be built if someone didn't ask for these requests and just came in and finished building this out as a rental community, or tried to do a condo institute a new condo down the road and go down the condo road if, let's say, condo financing became more favorable again in the future. And, that is what it would look like. And so because there are no lot lines, there's no setbacks being evaluated, there's nothing happening within this area here that gives rise to the variances that we have. The buildings are there, they're located there, they'd be located in the exact same place. Look at this area with the color, just to kind of highlight, same buildings, we took the same buildings, but we put lot lines, right? So we put these lot lines. Those are the lot lines that the plat creates so that we can sell them as fee simple. Same buildings. Imagine that we had drawn the lines here. We just simply did it here so that you could see the contrast. Same dimensions to the front, same depth for the unit, same space between the buildings, 30 feet. And so you've got, for instance, a rear yard setback variance. If this were a new project that were coming in, it would, and the code would require these buildings to be further apart, candidly or admittedly, or to seek a variance such as this one. In our case, we're not seeking a variance because we're trying to push the buildings in closer together. The buildings would be the same distance apart if we just built the project out now, but by putting the lot line, we don't have the separation we need to meet the legal distinction of the rear setback. The buildings are exactly the same distance as they would be if we built the project out as a rental community. We're not putting the buildings any closer. That was a misconception, and I think planning and zoning thought we were trying to push the buildings together. Absolutely not. The buildings will remain the same footprint that they would be. The second of the variances is the fact that the interior, the lot area for a townhome lot under the PUD regulations is 1,800 square feet, and we're at 1,742. So again, I mean, it's a simple math exercise. We can only take what's already approved, if our intent is to build exactly what's approved, and put the lines, and the lines meet, and I was never very good at math, but the lines are gonna meet right at the middle point, they're gonna turn around, and they're gonna create this rectangle, and when you add up the square footage of that rectangle, it is what it is, right? I mean, we can't extend it further because the road is already built. We can't go further back, or we would simply be taking it from one of the other ones. So again, when we just draw these lines and create these boxes, which would exist anyway, which if this was built out, same concept, I mean, they'd all be there. These lines are not actually in the ground, as you all know. The area would be the exact same. So the variance request is simply to allow, when we build or when we draw these lines and plat the property, for the rectangle here to be 58 square feet, I don't know, 6 by 9, 6 by 9.5, so you can imagine a very small area that otherwise would meet the code. The final one, the final variant that's required when you apply now the PUD regulations to this project is a fee simple project. And one other point to mention, the reason why none of these were issues previously is because you didn't have parcels, you didn't have lots, so you didn't have the setback, rear setback variance, or the lot area variance, right? Because you didn't have those rectangles that I drew, because it was being done as a condo project. The reason why you didn't have the corner lot setback variances is because on 3 of the buildings, of all of these buildings, and just to give you a sense of scale, the gray area here is what's already built out, the prior item that you all considered. That's that gray area. D.R. Horton's under contract to finish building out this area, which is the area that is unbuilt. When this project was approved initially, because it's approved as a condo form without any lot lines in the interior, all setbacks are basically measured from the exterior of the property. So all of these buildings inside are gonna meet it, right? They're hundreds of feet away in most cases. Every one of the buildings in the approved site plan put it exactly where we're building it. So we are not moving our buildings closer today to where they would be if we built it out as the current site plan and did it as a rental community. We are simply building the buildings where they are, but now that we apply new lines and you've got new, basically, areas from which to measure, you end up in a situation where some of these setbacks for 3 of the buildings in particular is down to 2 feet. The reason, and we've kind of delved into this a little further, is I think historically, all of those areas are areas where there's parking. And my sense, not having actually gone through to look at all the transcripts, but my sense is probably that there was a desire to add parking, and that's one of the places where, your predecessor councils and staff asked for additional parking. So there are, in 3 buildings, areas where there would be parking, closer to the buildings than, the code would otherwise require at this time. But again, that parking would be built today, and those buildings would be built in the exact same location, and that distance would be the exact same distance if this community were built out as a rental community if we didn't come and ask for these requests this evening. So, you know, we obviously work with staff to try and fit the project as it's already approved. You don't see a variation from the elevations. You don't see a variation from density, except to reduce it to provide for the additional amenity. What you see is basically just the desire by the contract purchaser to come in and finish this community, finish this area. By the way, when D.R. Horton has some great experience in the area, they came in. Remember, I referenced that as a whole, Palm Breeze was all of this area. This was the condo. This was the fee simple. D.R. Horton came in and finished out this area in the last 3 years or so, 3 to 4 years, and sold very well as fee simple. This was always fee simple, and sold very well as fee simple. So they are very confident that just up this road, I mean, a few hundred feet away, they'll be able to finish selling out these units as fee simple units. Finish a project that has remained unbuilt far longer than really any other project in the city. I mean, I've come in and repositioned and helped clients reposition projects over the last few years, but we're in almost 2020. We're well past, thankfully, the Great Recession. This council has seen a lot of applications, and unfortunately, this is one of those last ones to really finish cleaning up. I think in light of the fact that this is a project that does not add any density, in fact, it reduces it very, very minimally, is already vested as a site plan, vested for concurrency, road network in place, water and sewer in place, everything else in place, and that really these changes are necessitated by a desire to sell this as a fee simple product. There's really no detriment to the city. Ultimately, the city would get a project finished. The residents who live in that area today would no longer see, you know, an empty field that might be prone to dumping and other issues that we all know happen when fields are empty and folks, you know, can kind of have their way with them. And it's done so in a fashion from a sales standpoint of fee simple that is what is really available to the marketplace today, instead of, you know, a condo product that no longer works, or the fallback, a rental community, which is not this applicant's business model, but which is, of course, an option. As you've seen, the balance of the community will be a rental community. We would like to complement that balance, provide for a good mix with these fee simple products. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. As you all noted, I spoke with all of you, you know, before, because I knew that some of these nuances were important. So, but I'd be happy to answer any other questions you have. I'd also like to reserve a couple of minutes if there are any folks in the audience. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and appreciate your vote this evening.
Thank you. Councilman Maldonado, you got a question?
Just a question in regards to the HOA, and how will the HOA kind of difference?
So the roads are owned by the CDD, and they've been conveyed to the CDD, and they're owned by the CDD, and that's already in place, and there would be nothing further. There would be an HOA for this area.
Because there's an HOA for the condos.
Right.
And that's separate,
We would
and
create
there's
our
no-
own HOA, yeah.
Okay.
We would ultimately, just like any community, I mean, there's 190 units, so they would have their own HOA like a number of you would have.
That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman. Any additional questions or comments from council? Vice Mayor Burgess.
Thank you. To James or Mr. Cordino. You guys agree with the explanation that he gives on the setbacks and the one example he uses where he takes his lines and divides things up and that?
Yes, I do. I think that the issue is here that before we were looking at it as one giant lot. Now we're splitting it up into a bunch of little lots, and that necessitates the setbacks that we see in the code. But functionally, the buildings are where the buildings are. They're really not moving.
They're going to be there regardless.
Yes. It's
Whatever building that's built is going to be in the same spot.
Yeah, just because of the definitional change, it's not one lot, it's a bunch of little lots, and you kicks you into another part of the code where it's set up to where you need variances for that portion of the code.
Right. Well, okay. So, and you're saying with this change, there's definitely, this becomes a non-rental community because that's not their business model, that's not what they want.
D.R. Horton, like I said, and I pointed to the balance of Palm Breeze where they've built out, and they are obviously a leading home builder. They sell product. They are not. And we wouldn't be going through this effort. We could do a rental community without going through this effort.
Correct.
I think that's probably the most telling sign that the intent here, of course, is to go with a fee simple sale product, for sale product.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Roth.
Thank you, Mayor. This is probably to staff more so than the representative. My concern is when they talk about the reduction of the backyards or the rear yard. And, you know, green space is important to a lot of people, but based on the information and drawing the lines, is it more of a setback issue and the yards aren't really being diminished? Or is it the diminishing of the backyard? So if they have to have, what is the square footage requirement in the PUD for a backyard?
There's no square footage requirement necessarily, but there is a setback requirement, and what's required is 25 feet. And I believe what you're asking for is 15, right?
Correct.
Because that, now,
Because that's,
right, so what happened is the buildings aren't moving, right? But when we looked at it before and measured setbacks, we measured as one lot because it was one lot. A condo is built on basically one lot where the whole parcel.
Right. No, I get that
right,
part.
So now it's tinier lots because you had to cut it up into the fee simple lots for each building, and therefore then the setbacks are measured for those individual lots. So that's where you get a rear yard. He's asking for 15 when the code requires 20, 25.
Okay, so Hugo, hold that up for a second. So in the design on the left-hand side, that's the condo design. What is the amount of green space in between those buildings?
30 feet.
There's 30 feet.
And there's 30 feet here.
There's 30 feet there. So in essence, each one of those townhouses now will have a private backyard.
Sure, correct.
That is 15 feet deep by whatever the width is, right? Is that right?
Correct,
So
yes, whatever
in the
the
condo,
width-
in the condo version, there is no privacy, it's just open space.
Correct.
Now, the townhouses will be designed in a normal townhouse style, upstairs, downstairs.
Yes,
Maybe you
two-story.
have one or two that's not a two-story unit. The building on the left side, was that two-story units with condos up and down?
It's the exact same building. We're not changing the building. I have an elevation, Alex, if you'll bring it. We're
that's not-
building the
that's-
same, we're not changing the buildings. We're actually building the same buildings.
So the floor plans in the condos would have been exactly the same as the
Are.
townhouses?
Yes, sir. Will be exactly the same. This is what will get built, which is what's approved today. We did not change facade. We did not change any other elements. They're all basically two-story, except that what you have now is, in essence, you can't see it to the eye if you stand in front of the building, but each one of these will have its own.
I get that.
property.
I get that. So it's a townhome versus a condo, and this is more of a legal thing and a fee simple thing, where each homeowner is responsible for their property versus if they owned a condominium, they would be subjected to higher HOA fees possibly, and the HOA taking care of some of the common elements on the building.
Exactly.
So-
A condo would be owned, you would own your unit plus your undivided interest in the common elements. And so, in essence, everybody, all of the owners, if it's developed here in this, black and white area, would own basically their unit, and then they would pay for a little portion. In the aggregate, everybody would pay. Here, what happens is you basically will now have each unit owner taking care of their own, and an HOA that would stand the reason is going to charge less and move forward less because they're going to have less to maintain and less to do, because you've now got lots and folks that are going to function. And to your point, you're also creating an opportunity for a backyard. Typically in condo settings, you'll see it, it's like you come outside and there's no fence, there's nothing. Here now, folks will actually get their own, bit of private backyard.
And then with the other map that shows the entire area, they were
The aerial or the site plan?
the other one. So the box you've got highlighted there is condo now.
The box, so today, as it stands right now, it is condo, except that you just took a vote to remove the
Right.
condo restriction on the portion.
Correct.
But
Correct.
yes, this was originally, this is, when Mr. Cordino refers to this all having been approved with one boundary, the boundary was all of this area right here.
Gotcha.
One tract.
Okay.
A very simple plat. The plat for this was just basically one boundary plat, that's it. The replat now is a little more complicated because the replat now has every lot line.
Gotcha.
And that was one of your items,
Gotcha. And so you've eliminated 2 units
just for the amenity.
for the amenity, which is the pool.
Yes, a pool with like an open air gazebo, covered, but no structure, no building.
Thank you. That's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Guzman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to bring awareness to some condo laws where financing is in place, because this is going to allow for a lot more residents to purchase a property in Homestead because it's not going to be considered a condo. Fannie and Freddie Mac are the government entities that underwrite the condos, and in Florida, they require a 25% down payment. So Florida is the only state that requires a 25% down payment. Everywhere else only requires a 10% down payment when the condo budgets for at least 10% towards their reserves. So let's, for example, say the price point of your product is going to be $250,000. If it's considered a condo, the person buying that condo is going to need to come up with $62,000 to purchase this condo. So if that condo were, to require a 10%, it'd be $25,000. So the minute we convert it to a townhome, now the person can do an FHA loan, and it drastically reduces the amount of upfront money that this applicant or this buyer is going to need. So given all the points that you've made to us today, that it's not going to increase the density, it's not going to do all of those things that I have heard in the past that we want to shy away from, I think that creates a great opportunity for people in Homestead to be able to afford a home, because we are having an affordability crisis in Miami-Dade County as a whole. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Yeah, I'm torn on this one. I had a conversation with you a little bit before the meeting started, and this is one where I think there's a couple different arguments for and against it. Against it, the request is essentially, there's the potential that if we don't approve this, then there's always the slim chance that another developer might come in and decide to build a better product. Because unfortunately, this is one of those products that was approved long before anybody on this council was sitting up here, long before really most of the staff was even here. And it was back when we were approving a lot less quality products. There was a lot of condos. The aesthetics weren't necessarily the best. The layouts weren't the best. It was just kind of letting people pile as much density into a square as they could. And so this is kind of one of those relics where, I would love to not see it built at all and love to see a better product come back in, have them apply, and ultimately build a townhome product, or really single family, but I know that's not going to happen. But a townhome product it is more aesthetically pleasing versus what's being proposed. However, I also know that the argument for why this would make sense is that this could be built at any given time, and for the same reasons I voted against the last one, which is I'm not exactly thrilled necessarily about encouraging rental units throughout the community. This would, by converting it over to the townhome request, would allow for that, would allow for us to make sure it's sold fee simple. So instead of having maybe one landlord or one property owner that could then rent it out as they choose to, likely you're going to have multiple property owners who may rent it out, but it's not going to be in mass form. It's going to be no different than any neighborhood, single family or otherwise, throughout the community. And so that's kind of where I keep bouncing it around, and I understand P&Z, their kind of thought process, I think, was that, which is that D.R. Horton's a new owner. They're coming in, they're buying the property, and so therefore, ideally, it would be great if they would come to the table and propose something better, something that we're more proud of, something that would at least be a better product. But again, they don't have to do that, and anybody else could build exactly what you're showing us right here today, with the extra couple units, without the extra amenity, and ultimately turn it into that rental community. So it is a back and forth. Ultimately, I think I'm leaning toward the long-term solution. The best thing is to go ahead and make sure these are fee simple, making sure that we can kind of eliminate the possible, additional just pure rental communities within the area. So that's kind of where I'm right now. I'm been waffling around both ways, and you listen to my colleagues make their case, and so I just wanted to chime in on kind of my thought processes and where I was and where I likely am going to go. So with that, any additional comments from council? Vice Mayor Burgess.
Thank you, Mayor. No, I concur with you. And the rental community, I've always been leery or opposed to those, is I think when you get somebody that owns the property in the city, they care for it more and they take more pride in what they own, and it ends up being a better product as a whole. So I concur with you on the possibility of this being a plus because it's not a rental area. So just wanted to put that out there. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you. It still doesn't mean I'm happy about it either way, but at the end of the day, you know, you got to choose the lesser of the consequences. What is the best, and putting it toward fee simple, as Vice Mayor stated and some of my other colleagues said, ultimately makes the product a better bad product, but it's better than it started. So I mean, I think that's all we are in a position, and the choice is placed before us at this moment in time. Seeing no additional comments or questions from my colleagues, this is a public hearing. I'll open to the public. Any questions or comments from the public on tabs 15 through 19? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from the applicant? You
No,
reserved for rebuttal?
I think I hope I've answered all of your questions. Appreciate your time this evening and look forward to your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. No additional questions or comments from council. Do I have a motion to approve tab 15? Moved. Do I have a second? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Roth? Yes. Councilwoman Faircloth? Yes. Councilman Maldonado? Yes. Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bailey? Yes. Vice Mayor Burgess? Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 16. Do I have a motion to approve tab 16? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bailey? Yes. Councilman Maldonado? Councilman Guzman? Yes. Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faircloth? Yes. Vice Mayor Burgess? Yes. Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 17. Do I have a motion on tab 17? Moved. Do I have a second? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faircloth?
Yes.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bailey? Yes. Councilman Maldonado? Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 18. Do I have a motion to approve on tab 18?
Move it. Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Maldonado? Councilwoman Bailey?
Yes.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faircloth?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 19. Do I have a motion to approve? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Faircloth?
Yes.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bailey?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 20.
Yes, tab 20 is a second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 24, Streets, Sidewalks, and Other Public Places, Article 1 in general, and Article 2, Streets, to provide an exception to the prohibition on the use of the public rights-of-way for sidewalk cafes along the Chrome Avenue corridor located within the city's Arts, Entertainment, and Antiques District pursuant to city-approved sidewalk cafe permit, and amending Chapter 30 zoning, Article 1 in general, and Article 4 supplemental district regulations to provide for definitions and modified sidewalk and open-air cafe dining regulations, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date. This is second and final reading.
Staff report.
Yes, sir. We're recommending approval of the attached ordinance. So this was brought to our attention in July. We brought the ordinance back for the first time in August, where it was approved 7-0. Planning Board approved it 4-0 in September. Effectively, what it does is it eliminates any conflicting language in the code between the zoning code and the streets portion of the code, so it will allow the sidewalk cafes in the certain areas. We're recommending approval.
Thank you. Seeing no questions or comments from council, this is a public hearing. Any questions or comments on tab 20? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move it.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Yes. Councilman Guzman?
I've seen on a few occasions in front of Seminole Theater that when it rains, it puddles up there, so I wanted to ask staff if there's anything you think we may be able to do to mitigate that.
What we can do, we'll send our crews out there and see if there's anything that we can do to the existing stormwater utilities that are there in the area. Maybe they're clogged, maybe they have some debris inside, and we'll make sure to take care of that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sure, thank you. Tab 21. City Manager?
On August 7, 2019, the city manager's office was notified that the only vacuum truck in the wastewater division had broken down and was disrupting normal operations. Due to the nature of the emergency, the manager's office authorized the repairs to Southern Sewer Equipment Sales in the amount of $29,000.19 and notified council at the August 21, 2019 council meeting. While at Southern Sewer Equipment Sales, it was determined that the truck's high-pressure debris tank was compromised and would need to be repaired as well if the truck is to be operational again. These additional repairs total $39,472.31. Replacement of the truck would cost approximately $400,000 and would take 8 to 12 months. Therefore, it's staff's recommendation that the vacuum truck be repaired. Staff recommends mayor and council authorize city manager to issue a purchase order to Southern Equipment Sales for the repair of vacuum truck unit 04550 in the amount of $68,472.50. And I would say, Julio, anything else? No, that's it.
Any questions or comments from council? Councilman Roth?
Yeah, question. How old is that truck? If we invest $69,000 into something that's a temporary fix, is the truck still mechanically sound? Does it got enough less miles on it? You know, I know a new one's going to be $400,000, but I'm surprised we only have one of those trucks in service now.
Yeah, we have one in service, and there's another one that's actually out of service at this time. So this is basically our backup unit. This unit is about 10 years old, and doing these repairs would basically make it brand new again. I mean, we're replacing the most heavy-duty part of the truck is this pressure vessel that's in the back, and if that gets compromised, you don't have it doesn't work properly. It just doesn't work at all. By replacing that tank, we're basically making it brand new again. So it's not a matter of mileage; it's a matter of using the equipment, the pump, and the vacuum equipment that's on the truck that we need to get back on service.
All right, so we have one that's functional now.
Correct.
This is in case the other one goes down, we have a second. And I would assume we probably need two anyways operating throughout the city with stormwater drain. This is for stormwater drain clean out, is that right?
Exactly. We use it for stormwater and also for sewer lines as well. It's an equipment that we use in all sorts. Whenever we need a high pressure vacuum operation to take place, that's what we use. We do fine with this one unit. You know, we don't have any issues with it. We just need to get it repaired so we can get it back online.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Seeing no additional questions or comments from council, this is a public hearing. I'll open it up to the public for tab 21. Any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Do I have a motion to approve? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Guzman? Yes. Councilwoman Fairclough? Councilman Ross?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bailey? Councilman Maldonado? Vice Mayor Burgess? Yes. Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
The motion carries.
No resolutions, no discussion items. Next is public comment. I'll now open the floor to public comments. Each person will have 3 minutes to speak. First person for public comment is Kevin Sullivan. Oh, hold on. Yeah, during your business. Yeah, your business. Coming up, state your name and address for the record.
Want to turn it on?
I turn it on, you're good, yeah.
Kevin Sullivan, 1860 Southeast 6th Court, Homestead. I'm here tonight reflecting on this construction project on Canal Drive. We've had a lot of discussions, but about 6 years ago, 2 fourth graders from the environmental grade school came to the council and gave a fantastic presentation with maps, how they had to walk in the street on rainy days because the grass was too high and too wet. And at that point, city manager and Julio got together and they figured out where we could put sidewalks in. So now we fast forward to this year. We got Canal Drive and it's a mess. We've all discussed it. Well, it's a county project. Sorry, county. I'll guarantee you that project wouldn't be like that if you were up in Pinecrest and saw the repair of the road up there. They did it in 7 months. So now we're back to sidewalks. When I realized there was no sidewalks going in, I went to Julio, and he stated at the council meeting that they're working with the county. So I called our commissioner, Danielle Cava's office, and lo and behold, I found out Councilman Ross had already been there discussing why we couldn't get a sidewalk there. So I'm happy to say I noticed yesterday that they were actually putting concrete sidewalks. It's not complete yet, so I thank you for that. I thank Julio for all your work. And before I leave, I'd like to say a big thank out to the guy that I've been on his back ever since he got on the council, getting things done. He answers all my phone calls, he answers my emails, and he actually waves to me once in a while when he passes me on the street. So, John Burgess, I appreciate all that you've done.
Next is Susan Sorrentino.
Susan Sorrentino, 2610 Northeast 3rd Drive. I'm an artist here in town, as you know, and I'm here to plant a seed with you that I've planted here every time you've seen me stand in front, and that is to get an art center for this community. We talk about quality of life. Quality of life without art, without theater, without dance, without music is So we go to Miami. We will attract better quality people who want to come here, live here, and enjoy if you increase, well, put anything. An art center at the Old City Hall location would be ideal. In the past, I've asked you all to look at tamarackwestvirginia.com. I know one of you actually visited there this summer. And I would like you to look it up again. They started with nothing, and it's a thriving art center that created tremendous jobs right across the board, not just for artists, for the whole art community. If you give up that location to a development of some sort with the idea that a corporation will come in and create 10,000 jobs or whatever it is, I don't know what it is, it would be a shame because it does not increase the quality of life here in Homestead. So I'm planting the seed again. You'll see me again. Some of you will be different faces come 2020. I don't want the project that you created over at the Seminole Theater to go bye-bye when you do. Please, somebody pick it up. That's the Spotlight program at the Seminole Theater. Artists need to be seen, but more important, let's create something in the future for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Kim Hill.
How you doing, George? I'm gonna take my horse to the Old Town Road and ride till I can't no more. That's a famous song right now, written by a guy by the name of Lil Nas. Now, when Lil Nas tried to put this record on the country Billboard charts and get, his credit, they wouldn't allow it to happen. He had to go get this guy, Billy Ray Cyrus, and put him on. Sounds like Mr. Hill. I've been listening to the debates, and you got like about 4 white guys. They're out there now, they're talking about body cameras. I've never seen them come up here and talk about body cameras with me. The rest of the candidates are talking about body cameras. And you guys will start to talk about it. You all will put it on the agenda, but you couldn't do it for me. That's the life of a black man. Ms. Bailey, it was nice to see that you had the little kids out and a couple of those gentlemen up here standing up before you and everything. Reminds me of when I used to watch Shirley Temple and she would bring the Negroes out, and they would dance for them and everything. But their condition on the plantation remained the same. These people on the southwest side right now, you know, you have a lack of investment there. There's a lot of CRA funding is being redirected from there. All of these public policy issues that would help those children out, it's not taking place. We can sit up and pat them on the back and salute everyone, but see, real men get up and protect their community. They fight for public policies that affect the children. So this is what I want to see you try to be a catalyst for. How you doing, Mr. Roth? Mr. Burgess, 8 years or so, right? How long? 12 years. 12 years. And basically no investment on the southwest side. 50 years, no investment. See, I don't seek votes. I seek to do what's right when I walk up here. It has nothing to do, I have an agenda, my community. And I want to see the same development. And I'm pro-black, but I'm not anti-anything. But I don't care how it's interpreted. We have to get away from this relationship, this slave master relationship. Those gentlemen that was up here, some of us, you know, they're fighting for air conditioning and cable on the plantation. Me, I'm trying to get off the plantation. Thank you.
Next is James Eric McDonough.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. My name is Dr. James Eric McDonough. I live at 32320 Southwest 499th Avenue. Very happy to be here tonight. You know, the city is just growing, and it's so wonderful to see how many people in the city are actually finally getting motivated. Hopefully we'll get more than 2.5% of the vote, and hopefully we'll be able to get rid of the absentee ballots that tend to be fraudulent every year. Manager Gretzis, I'd like to congratulate you on getting the contract signed with Del Rey, and we just hope you don't let the door hit you on your way out. Last council meeting, we watched as y'all set up Guzman. I don't know, Mr. Guzman, maybe you were complicit in it. I kind of feel that you were set up. We'd like to talk about how people are using city campaign property as well as the city logo. Less than a week later, Mr. Roth puts a flyer on his campaign webpage with a seal of the city logo on it. Are y'all planning to do anything about that, or are you just threatening all the other candidates that are running in opposition to the people that Wayne Rosen has funded? Okay, I guess probably won't get any answers for that. Also like to let you know that the city is refusing to allow me to inspect records, which is absolutely mandated under the law. They can play whatever tricks they want, but you guys don't want to cooperate, I'll just file another lawsuit. I'm not threatening. You guys know I'll file a lawsuit. With that, I'd also like to bring in Councilman Maldonado, who is liking to slander people, including the Honorable Bobby Ray, and making lies on my page and harassing me. You know, y'all have come at me 9 separate times for false stalking charges and injunctions, and then you're gonna allow your councilman to come to my page and try to harass me while he spreads lies that are so easily disprovable. It's disgusting. I wanna be this clear. I don't ever wanna address Maldonado. I don't want him to ever talk to me. If he does, I will file stalking charges and injunctions the same way y'all have done to me 9 separate times. Every one of them was dismissed, with the last one the judge saying was constitutionally protected activity. That was really cute. Also, I'd like to wonder if anybody on the council wants to say anything about Chief Roll campaigning in uniform for Mayor Porter or any of the other candidates? Guess not. Also, does anybody have anything they'd like to say about Chief Roll trying to shut down my debate? Nothing, absolutely nothing. That's what I thought. You know, everybody who sits up here and says that they glorify democracy and they care about the First Amendment is an absolute hypocrite. This is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Y'all pretend like I'm crazy, like I'm the bad guy. This is all documented. This is all on video. Anyway, you know. Who was that? Was that you, sir? All right, great, thank you. You're diagnosing me with mental
Hey,
conditions?
hold on, let me get back control of this. You address us, don't address him. Let's
Is he
keep
gonna be
the
kicked
core.
out like the way we're kicked out when we speak out and cancel? No, I guess you guys want to protect everybody that covers y'all for y'all. You know what? Y'all have a great day.
Next, we have Kenny CNET.
Good evening. Kenny Sinan, Homestead, Florida, 33033. I don't know what are the protocols for making minor changes, but I was wondering if you guys sometimes could move the public commentaries to the beginning, because you know, for people like me who works two jobs, who wants to be active and come here and speak sometimes, so it's a little bit hard for me to sit here for 2 hours, you know, to listen to everything that's going on. But working two jobs sometimes doesn't allow me to do that. So I don't know if it's possible, but please take that into consideration sometimes if you could move the public commentary to the very beginning instead of at the end. I mean, not every session, but you know, every once in a while. I know 90% of the time is spent on developers and site plan to build, et cetera, which is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I hope one day to come here and able to sit and listen to the council really discussing policies and addressing issues that are really affecting the community, such as the utility rate. I recently bought my first house, and my utility rate has literally tripled from paying over roughly $70 to $80 a month to now over $200. I know my house is a little bigger now, but I don't think, when I look at the consumption rate of the electricity that we use, is relatively the same as the old house. So I went from paying $70 to $80 to now $200. So again, I'm sure I'm not the only one who's going through that. So I hope one day to come here, I'm sure there's people in the Southwest side, people who's living paycheck to paycheck, who's struggling to pay their utility bills. I'm fortunate to have a decent job where I could make ends meet, but it's a little disturbing. Once again, I went from $70, $80 to now over $200. And again, I'm using relatively the same amount of where I used to live before. And another issue, again, I have another student of mine who was body slammed by a police officer, but again, afraid to make a report because they are illegal. These are issues I think that needs to be addressed. And also, it's impossible to move around the city in the morning and in the afternoon. I just moved by the Oasis, and it's taking me literally 30 minutes to drive from Homestead Middle School to get to my house. And we're talking about adding more townhomes, adding more units, and making the city more overcrowded. And last but not least, for 2-3 years, Mr. Hill, Mr. Wemble, and a few other people have been making a case for police body camera, but it seems like those remarks are irrelevant. You know, nobody's really willing to put it on the agenda or even to discuss it. I think the role of the city council is to listen to everybody, regardless whether you guys like what they're discussing or not, at least to even consider it, to even talk about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Michael Stiles.
Michael Stiles, 3106 Northeast 3rd Drive, Homestead. I stand before you today to, first of all, to thank our city for such a fabulous job. After sitting here listening to the bashing over and over again, these are the same guys that doesn't do anything for our city but sit back and find a negative. But I was always taught there's a positive in every negative thing. And if you can't look at the positive and outweigh the negative, then maybe it's you that need to move out of the city. I want to first of all thank those, as far as our Councilwoman Fairclough, our Chief of Police, Chief Rowe, as well as our former Mayor Porter, for coming to the call of us in the Southwest District where I pastor. To put on a notation, this was not an election. This was not a meeting for election. It was not a meeting to raise hell. As far as me and my house, I will serve the Lord. And so we brought forth these people who represents us in this great city, who's brought us this far. I want to thank them because the first thing they did was they put themselves at ease for the people of the city. Neither body came in and said, vote for this person or that person. They came in with valuable information to be led, to help us to be led in the right direction. Even doing so, the bashing continued. The young men that came up before you even bashed me. But I've learned that if there's a cross to be crucified, Jesus even rose up from the dead. So if you continue to bash, even the one that's been put in the tomb will come out of the tomb one day. I come by to tell to all of you who sits on this council, neither one of us is perfect that sits here. But I tell you what, hold your head high and continue to do what you can do to make a difference. I also want to say thank you to Brother Gretson for doing such an awesome job of bringing forth the resources that we could use for the future to better our community. I know it seems to be hard sometimes. I'm in the same shoes, Brother Gretson. Being a pastor ain't easy, but keep your head high because your answer, your reward doesn't come from everybody around you. It comes from a higher power. God bless you. Heaven smile upon you.
Thank you. That's all the public comment cards I have for today, for tonight. So with that, I will close the public comments. But I would like to ask the city manager, I know that as far as investments in the Southwest, I believe that we have made some pretty significant investments overall in the Southwest over the years. It would be good to maybe put together some sort of document or accounting that shows all the projects and the CRA investment of dollars and things that we've done to improve aesthetically and otherwise the community. So that'd be something if we could put that together for a future discussion item or future meeting.
Mayor, I feel but we're happy to do that. We have the list, and we'll provide it to you tomorrow morning. But I feel like the only item I got on here was the vacuum truck. So that's the only thing I got to speak on all night. And so in light of that, I would like to vacuum up a little more of the mess that was made tonight with these speakers, if you don't mind. Because I think it's okay that God bless the First Amendment. It's something that we all value. And that's the beauty of it. People can come up here and vomit all kinds of lies. They get their 3 minutes to do that. And guess what? I get to sit here and say what I think as well. The difference is what's going to come out of my mouth is the truth. And I'm going to first start with the lies that were spewed out against one of the councilmen tonight about the use of the city seal, because I sat back for long enough and I've listened to this, but I think people have a right to know what the facts are. The accusation is very simple, that a flyer went out created by a councilman and it was misuse of the city seal. Well, I have in my possession proof that the councilman didn't create the flyer. And also, I have in my possession proof that this whole relief effort on the Bahamas was created and started by the minority leader of the Florida House of Representatives. So what that means is a government official, through one of his surrogates, begins to launch an effort to help a devastated people who are in desperate need of help, people who were wiped out. And so this elected official reaches out to other elected officials who also have an interest in helping people who are devastated by a hurricane, who, by the way, all serve in a region that very regularly is threatened by hurricanes, and not only have a heart for helping those in need, but also someday we may need others to reach out and help us, just like we had in Hurricane Andrew when people from all over the country and world helped us in our time of need. So the elected officials started chatting and other community activists started chatting, and an effort was formed to do a hurricane effort, and the representative's aide created a flyer. So, number one, the councilman didn't create the flyer, and number two, if the councilman did create the flyer, I'm going to read the statute, which is Section 165.043. The governing body of a county or municipality may, by ordinance, designate an official county or municipal seal. The manufacture, use, display, or other employment of any facsimile or reproduction of the county or municipal seal, except by county or municipal officials or employees, quote, in the performance of their official duties without the express approval of the governing body, is a second-degree misdemeanor. So what that means is, if any member of this dais decided, I'm going to get involved with a hurricane relief effort because it's important for the public to have officials here helping out others because it benefits the city in some way, they can use the city seal anytime they want. And therefore, there's nothing here other than a lot of noise and a lot of spewing of lies, and I just feel like there's only so much of this I can accommodate. So that's that issue right off the bat, okay? Let's just take that off because he didn't create the flyer, and if he did, he would be perfectly within his rights as an elected official to use the flyer. And by the way, to all of you that were involved in helping your fellow human beings who were drowning and starving and hoping that their loved ones don't die, for caring and for doing something to help people that are suffering from misery. And what a disgrace for this to even be something that anybody is talking about. It really, truthfully, it's my First Amendment right, so I can say it. It disgusts me to hear this kind of bile when somebody here is trying to help people who were devastated by a Category 5 hurricane. What kind of indecency is this? Oh, and by the way, from an individual that doesn't have a residence here, doesn't have a business here, doesn't work here? Really? Then the bile against the chief of police and the bile against police officers who, by the way, last meeting we were here celebrating the lowest crime rate in 23 years. So why not? They can't celebrate us for that, Chief. So come in here and lie about the chief of police. Chief, you didn't do anything wrong. I know that for a fact. I know witnesses that were there that corroborate what you're saying, which is you have done nothing wrong other than serve this community for your entire life. And I'm very sorry that you have to hear this kind of bile. And to this extent, police officers hear that as well. I heard you out there, and I understand what you said, and I think we all understand it pretty clearly. And I would just say this, you keep doing what you're doing because we all love what you do and we respect you for doing it and we support you. And just because a handful of malcontents come in here and vomit all over the place and spew poison, that's not who the real people are of this city. And everywhere I go, it's not everything sucks. In fact, it's the opposite. People are really happy about what's going on in this city. And so I just feel like, I guess that's my First Amendment right, Mayor, right? So, and the other thing I heard, which I found extremely offensive, and I'm going to say it tonight, is I hear the only way to get to an arts center is, quote, we will attract better quality people. I don't know what that means, but I find that offensive too. So let's just put that on the list as well. And then finally, for the individual who's got an issue with the utility bill, we're happy to discuss your bill with you and see what we can do to help. Maybe there's some efficiency there, but feel free to contact our utilities director, and I'm sure she'd be more than happy to help you. But we have really good quality people here in this city, and I think we should celebrate them and not abuse them, and the people who help people in need, not just sitting here on this dais, but people risk their lives every day so that everybody here can be safe. And with that, Mayor, back to you.
Thank you, City Manager. I'll take that as your business from the city manager. City attorney, do you have something?
If I could just request a couple of executive sessions.
Okay.
One in the case of Early v. City of Homestead, case number 18-CV-24260. Denate v. City of Homestead, case number 2017-020561. And McDonough v. City of Homestead, case number 1906869. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Guzman, keep putting your light on, off, on, off. Which one do you want? You want Councilman Guzman, you recognize.
I also want to take this opportunity to highlight and to let everyone know that we've got 2 secured leases for the Homestead Station, and we've also got letters of intents for some restaurants and a day spa. So a lot of talk out there saying that, we don't have anybody coming to Homestead Station. It's a ghost town. I'd like to put on the record that there are people coming here, and there's going to be a lot more coming very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Faircloth, reports from mayor and council.
Yes, just 3 quick announcements. This Saturday is STEM Saturdays at the FICO Williams Community Center from 9 to 12. So please bring the children out on Saturday for STEM Saturdays. And then October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I would like to announce that there will be another Breast Cancer Super Walk on October 19th, hosted by SEDMA, Southeast State Ministerial Alliance. We would love for the community to come out and take part in this. There are a lot of breast cancer awareness walks throughout the community, but this one is very special because we're closer to the people who we see every day, those breast cancer survivors, thrivers, those families that are impacted. So if your schedule permits you to walk with us on October 19th, the registration begins at 6:30 a.m. at the Homestead Powell Gym. The walk begins at 8 a.m., leading to the Florida City Community Center. If you would like to register, you may email SEDMA, SEDMA, org@yahoo.com. We would love to see a great showing for this community to support those families that have been impacted by breast cancer. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Bailey.
Thank you, Mayor. I have 3 items as well. We have an exciting program that's starting for students 16 to 19. It's called IE2, Inspire, Enrich, Employ. This is going to be a college/career readiness program, completely free. It'll be 4 days a week, FICO Williams, for 1 hour. And not only does it allow high school students to get ready for college and their careers, but it also helps further things for mentoring programs. The mentors that help lead this curriculum will get stipends towards education. They also receive a monthly pay for it, so we're very, very excited about it. You can start reaching out to my office come Monday, 305-224-4454, if you would like more information. And speaking of information, SWAC has a website, cityofhomestead.com/SWAC. We will be posting all of our events and community happenings. Just in case there's any questions of what's happening in the Southwest, you can follow there. And lastly, if you will please mark your calendars, December 7th will be Art Walk Homestead. And we are very excited to announce all the details, and that will be next month. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Maldonado, you also have a tab 22 under that as well. You want to take that up first, or? Okay, so we have tab 22. I'll turn it over to you, and you can lead the discussion on it. Go ahead, Councilman Maldonado.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to bring this before council, and I'm not sure if Ms. Faison, Mary Faison is here. Are you here? There she is. If you could come up. So just wanted to let this council and everyone know that there was a few organizations that reached out to me that wanted to do some events to give back to the community. And so one of the asks, and Miss Mary Faison is coming over now to talk about the organization and what we want to do. The ask was if we could use the racetrack to host basically a large biker community and an organization to come out and help raise funds for the kids of the community. And so with that, I'll just pause there and let her talk about it, but I also wanted to take the opportunity as well. I was working with Jason and staff to help us understand, the council to understand what are our rights or what can we do with the racetrack. I understand, and we understand that we have the ability to use the track on certain occasions for certain events, and so I just kind of wanted to bring that forward so that we would be versed in what we can do and maybe have a little bit of discussion on that. But with that, I'll pause that. Miss Mary.
Yes.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Mary Faison. My address is 13945 Madison Street, Miami, Florida. First, I want to say good afternoon, good evening to the mayor, the honorable mayor, and each and every councilman, councilwoman that's sitting on the panel tonight. I want to thank you very much, Councilwoman Patricia Faircloth, for your comment of saying that if you're going somewhere and you're not taking anyone with you, then you actually are not going anywhere at all. Right. And instead of always speaking about a situation, it is always great to do something about that situation. And so tonight, I'm here to present Sugar for Kids. This is my baby Sugar. Pay attention. This is my baby Sugar. The foundation is named after her, Sugar for Kids. Our vision is to create a pathways and opportunities for disadvantaged children and their families. And also we help students that are going to college. We take part with the Omega Phi Psi Pi Nu chapter that issues scholarships to students going to college. And Sugar for Kids steps in and we give out laptops to each and every one of these kids. Our main sponsor is Rubenstein Law, who is just as excited as I am about doing this year's 2019 toy drive at the Homestead Speedway, and there's a reason for that. We're coming out, if it be your approval, we're coming out with over 600 plus motorcycles. We will have over 50 Jeeps that will be the Jeep Swarms. We're also coming out with approximately about 25 slingshots. They're like the little mini motorcycle cars. We're coming out with those. Our goal is to cater to over 1,500 girls and boys. Upon your approval tonight, I will then do my marketing and start going on the radio stations, Hot 105, WEDR. I will post out flyers, and I'm asking for all the kids from the West Bryan Park, from the Goose Park, Naranja, Homestead, Florida City, Modella. I'm asking all the parents to bring their kids out, and I can assure you that no kid will leave without a toy. We want to give out, like I said, 1,500 plus toys. My goal is to give out, normally Sugar for Kids gives out every year 250 to 300 bicycles. We cater to 500 kids on the West Bryan Park, but we always come out with 1,000 toys because kids from all other vicinities come out to that particular park. So we want to make sure that we're able to accommodate those students, those girls and boys. In addition to that, upon your approval for the Speedway, I've went to every park there is in the Southwest area. I thought about Harrisfield, but when I got there, it was humongous, it's big, but it's all botched up, and I could not do what I want to do. So my heart, believe me, my heart is the Homestead Speedway, and it is on the bucket list of every motorcycle rider there is. They want to go there. As far as the insurance, the city of Homestead will take no responsibility, no liability. Sugar for Kids will take out an insurance policy, assuring for each and every individual that's going to be out at that facility, at that venue, and I will provide it to the city. Councilman Maldonado, I will provide him with that insurance policy. In addition to that, I've spoken with Commissioner Dennis Moss, and I have his approval. He's also going to provide me with police officers. Again, all of this is upon your approval. He's going to provide me with police officers that is going to escort. We're going to have a whole slew of us coming on the turnpike. We will have the highway patrol. They're going to block off all the entrances so that we all can come down the turnpike, and we will be escorted to the Homestead Speedway. In addition to that, Commissioner Moss is going to provide me with a sound stage with an overhang. He's going to provide Sugar for Kids with a 20 by 40 tents. He's going to two 20 by 40 tents, 10 by 10 tents. We will have square tables, chairs, and bounce houses. In addition to that, we will have game trucks for all of the young girls and boys there. We also will have a Sugar for Kids Candyland that we come up with every year. Sugar for Kids would like to not only just give to the young girls and boys in the West Perrine area. I do know that there are a lot of migrant children in this area, and we want to be able to give out not just to African American young girls and boys, or the whites, the Hispanics. I want to come in this neighborhood. I have been trying to get with Councilman Elvis Maldonado now for 2 years. I have wanted to come in this area. However, I have been called upon to go in other different areas. And I've spoken with God about this. I prayed about it. And it is not meant for your blessing to be placed in one location. When you want to bless others, you have to move abroad. You have to make a difference in other areas. And so that is what I'm pleading with you all tonight, to allow the motorcycles, to allow the bikers, my biker family. Of course, Sugar and I, we ride motorcycle as well. Sugar rides too. She has her own helmet. And so what we would like to do is come into this area and place smiles on your girls and boys, on your children, provide them with laptops, provide them with, we also give out tablets to the young girls and boys. We give out bicycles, and this year, God's will, my goal is to give out 400 bicycles. And the reason we only give out a limited of bicycles is because we want those particular girls and boys, there's a way that they earn that bicycle. When they put their hand, there is like, we have a slot, and we have like, it's just like a lottery. When you go in that box, whatever you choose, be it a ticket that says a toy, be it a ticket that says a bicycle, a ticket that says a tablet, or a ticket that says a laptop, that is what you will get that day at the toy drive. And so it makes it exciting to the young girls and boys when they get to come out, not knowing what they're going to get, but they know they're going to leave there with something. And so having said that, I'm asking you all to please consider this. Please consider it. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to my other board members on the Sugar for Kids Foundation. And so I'm hoping that we will get as many yeses as I saw going through here tonight, as many yeses. I really hope that we get that. And as for you, City Manager, I want to thank you for giving a shout out to what is right. I want to thank you for speaking out and using your amendment to speak and say what we feel is right. Because often we have a lot of people that does a lot of complaining, but no one wants to do anything about it. We see a lot of girls and boys, we see a lot of families that are hungry, but no one wants to do anything about it. So until you're able to reach out and do something about it, then you have no reason or no clause to stand before this mic and complain about it. So I wanted to comment you on that.
Thank you. And so with that, so I guess the ask is if this council would support, and then I get Matt, I guess the question is, can we talk about, you know, our ability to, oh, go ahead. You have one more item?
I'm sorry, I forgot. There was one other thing I wanted to bring. I've also crossed my bases with Farm Share. And because of the families that are in this area, I have Farm Share that is going to be coming out that morning as well. If approved, they will be there on the premises at 9 a.m. And I also have a group of 30 men and women that will be there to help provide them with food. We're going to give them They will either get a whole chicken or they will get a whole ham, but they will get the dressings, the candy yams, they will get the beans and all of that. We will have everything bagged up for every family. It's a first come and a first served basis, so when we run out, we run out.
Excellent. I heard some good things about Farm Share, so I'm glad to hear that as well. And with that,
Hold on, because that changes all sorts of things here now. All right, so first off, we've got, I guess, two items here. We've got one is general concepts or discussions about utilization of the track. And so I guess the question is, what do you want to address first? Do you want to address overall policies about how do we use our days and assign those, or do you want to address this specific request by this organization?
Well, I wanted
first?
to talk about the policy first, and then, with that understanding, then we could kind of move forward with that, with the ask.
Okay, and then so to the city attorney, because they've now raised farm share, which is my day job, and so I wasn't aware that the two are hand in hand. So where does that put me as far as chairing the discussion related to potentially granting or not granting a use of a city property? So.
Well, I think if you want to take part in the general discussion about what the city's rights are to use the track, I think that's totally appropriate. If in abundance of caution you want to step back when for
that's
the
why
actual request, then I think that's the safe course.
Okay, so that was my ask, because if we're talking general policy, I have no problems participating, but once we start talking about a specific grant, even though it's ancillary, my organization is probably ancillary to this, because I don't know all the details and facts of how this is playing out, I don't want to take any risks, so I would prefer to then step away and let the decision be made without me, just in case there's any type of issue there. So with that.
Policy.
Huh?
So with that would be, go ahead, Matt.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Matt.
So pursuant to the operating and management agreement, the city is entitled to 12 days per calendar year without charge to use the project, and the project is described as various. There's a laundry list of portions of the facility. There's a process for making a request. The track, basically, you're looking for free days, unencumbered days on the track, so the track can can deny it under reasonable grounds, and there's a whole definition of what that entails. But once those days are locked in and they've committed to you, that's it. But what the agreement does not speak to at all is any internal decision-making process as to how the council would like to allocate those days and how they want to determine what events they would like to move forward with and select the track days. And I think that's a discussion for you all to determine, and whatever you decide on would be appropriate.
Vice Mayor Burgess.
I do know that in the past, when we have tried to do days out there, that the racetrack and the inside of the track for these type of events have been off the table for liability, one, and two, they usually have the racetrack rented out on almost all weekends throughout the year. There's somebody there, so I know that we would have to reach out to them before any decision by us could be ultimately ratified tonight and see, I think.
Councilman Maldonado.
So the question would be to Matt and Jason, would it be, so I guess could we make the decision whether we're going to support this or not, and then follow up with the date would be my ask in the process of, let's say, if we're going to agree to support the organization. I know there's some details that need to be worked out, that we're clear of that, and we're not, and that's the reason why I brought this forward, so that we could kind of have a discussion. We know that there's details to be worked out. Obviously, the mayor wasn't aware of one portion of what was happening, and so we'll kind of work through that. But I'd like to at least be able to say, okay, yes, and then work on the date with the track when we understand that. But we also do have the right to use a track, and so when we come to them, it's that, I know we have a date that is on the calendar according to Sugar for Kids, but again, I guess we'd have to work that through us.
So
go ahead. So hold on, because we're talking policy right now.
I'm
just
sorry.
Generalized, and then they'll get to your specific issue next. Go ahead, Attorney.
What I haven't yet heard is any determination. I understand you want to move forward tonight, and I think that that's totally appropriate. If that's the will of the council, then we can start the ball rolling. But I do want to make sure that before we get to that point, you address the broader policy question, because I don't want the mayor to veer into
Right.
the supporting of the event before my understanding is you want to extricate yourself from that discussion?
Yeah, Craig, once we start talking about this specific event, then at that point, I'm going to step out
Okay.
and let you guys converse and make decisions just to make sure
Okay, yeah,
I firewall as best I can
So
until
I
I
will
know
say
any
tag
different.
now and get out.
Exactly. So if you all want to have a discussion about how you appropriate days, I think now's the time to have it, and then we can circle back, and if you then want to make a motion after the mayor has excused himself, I think that would be the appropriate time.
And I think, the point is that we've been here for many years, and I don't think there's really been an ask for us to use it for events. And so I kind of wanted to bring this forward so that we would be more aware of the process and our rights to use it. And that way it would be open for the council for anything else, any other events that we would think of that would benefit our community. So we've not used it. I don't think it's been used to the extent of what we're allowed to have. And so I would like to take the opportunity and use it for the benefit of our community. So with that.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you. The event sounds spectacular, and obviously it is a plus for everybody. Unfortunately, I don't know who Sugar for Kids is, other than what you spoke to me about tonight. Yeah, and I would love to see it, because it sounds like you do spectacular things. But for me to make a big decision like this tonight, I need a little more info, and I wish there had been some info tucked into the tab. Is their background, all the history that they have and stuff. And that would have been more comforting for me to be able to read that and perhaps reach out to you when I got the agenda on Friday. Yeah, I mean, I would love to read it and speak to you, because I have ideas about, what would be good there too, perhaps, that we could all share and make it a great event for the city. But as far as for me to make a decision tonight without knowing a little more about the organization and all that goes with it, I'm not ready. Next month, I'll be ready to go, or maybe at the committee of the whole, or wherever it is.
So hold on one verify, because now we're back to the topic again. So I'm let me make a comment on general policies, and then I'm going to step out, because this is getting too, we keep coming back to the event itself. So my only concern as we talk about policies and procedures as it relates to utilization of the track, because I know according to the contract, yes, we have the right to use the facilities, but I also know that there could be cost involved related to those uses, whether depending on the size and the scope of the event, the areas of the track that we're asking to use, whether it's the inside, is it the outside, is it the parking area, is it the Champions Club, so one of my concerns is as well is that, a lot of the times we've been utilizing this facility so far as a city event. So we've been paying those expenses, 4th of July, some of those things, we're covering those costs, whatever that may be, the State of the City, when we did the State of the City address there. I think some of us have had events there as well, and so there may have been some costs associated with holding those events for parking or police. So I think that's one of my first concerns, is that any organization or entity that's not the city that's asking to utilize the space, is there going to be a financial consequence, and is that organization going to be responsible for that? The same thing that when we start talking about waiving fees for city facilities, is it a public purpose? Is it to serve the general population? Is it educational? Does it, like the Rotary Seafood Festival, when we've done that at the stadium, it's kind of a national or a regional event, and so it's bringing attention to the city and making sure that it's a good thing for our brand, it's a good thing for the city as a whole. So those are kind of the things that I would want to see as we're talking about policies and procedures, is the scope of the events themselves, in that they are going to be either good for our community because they're providing services, or they're providing something that is unique, that needs to be at the Speedway, because again, we have a lot of other venues that could host a smaller scale event, or maybe a less big branded event. So that's kind of what I want to see as we're talking policies and procedures, making sure there's no financial cost. Do we need to be a sponsor or co-sponsor of all the events? So I think there's a lot of items here we can bat around. So I'll stop right now and see if you guys want to continue discussion policies, or if you want to talk about this event, in which case then I'm going to get up and. Well, okay, go ahead, Councilman Maldonado.
And so, and I agree and I understand what we're saying, but, again, the reason why it's brought to council for this discussion, so that we could, again, I don't think that we've utilized the facility to its potential and our ability to use it for the benefit of our community. This is this is an event that's open to the public. It's not for just one company, one organization, one group. It's open for the community of Homestead. We know that we've mentioned other communities that will benefit from that. And we can pass it off.
Yeah, well, I know.
Yeah,
It's getting crazy
yeah, he's probably calling it track now. And so, you know, so again, this is for my colleagues as well to be versed in what is our ability to use the facility for the benefit of our community. So I know that we've used it and there's costs that we've incurred, and then I would also be a sponsor on this item as well, and I would ask the community, my colleagues as well, if they'd want to partner and join in and be a part of this, and it's obviously open. Obviously, Commissioner Moss already stepped in from the county, it's his district, and so he is obviously stepping in as well. So with that, I open it for the rest of the council.
All right, any more discussion on the policy, general policy? Okay, if not, then I don't know where to take it from here, but I'm going to step back so you guys can talk about this event, and then we can maybe bring policy back in on the backside if there wants to be a further discussion.
How do we talk if you're not here?
Excuse me? Go ahead, go Councilman Guzman.
If you step away, who moderates the mics?
Huh? Well, yeah, no, I was going to pass it to the vice mayor, obviously, but he's no longer here, so that means Councilwoman Faircloth will have to assume these duties of leading the discussion for this item, and then you guys come back and get me, and if we get back into broader policy, I'll be happy to weigh in on some things, but I'm gonna cut ties here right now. All right, just come get me when you guys are on to the next issue. Thank you.
Who's speaking? Who wants the floor? Mr. Maldonado? Hit your button. I got you, never mind.
So I guess to ask this for this council, so the organization besides Sugar for Kids, again, Dennis Moss Commissioner Moss is helping out in this item. It's an organization that's been around working in the community outside of Homestead. Obviously, as she mentioned, she wanted to come into Homestead. Also, Cartel Baggers, which is a large motorcycle organization that I've helped out in the past, and they've raised significant amount of funds, and as well as doing this toy drive event, but in other communities. And so Cartel Baggers, Ralph has been, which is the president of it, has been wanting to do some charity events here in Homestead, and we know each other through a mutual friend, and so again, the reason why I brought this forward. So with that, I'll just open it to my council to give me your thoughts on and supporting this item.
Questions, comments? Councilman Guzman?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. From what I've heard tonight, it seems like there's a lot of positive in what you've brought forth to us tonight. And based on the policies, given the track and our deal that we've got currently with the track, it doesn't seem like we are not abiding by any of those terms. And I heard her mention earlier that, you know, the insurance portion of that event is going to be taken care of, and you'd name the city and the track additionally insured. So with that, I'm willing to also sponsor and support this event. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councilwoman Faircloth.
Outside of the use of the facility by way of the city, what other asks will you have for the city? Or will there be any additional asks from the city? That asks. Is there anything else you would like from the city?
Are they're sponsors of the Sugar for Kids Toy Drive. We will also have Peterson, Holly Davidson South. They too will be there. We have Rubenstein Law, who also is the major sponsor of Sugar for Kids and who has been the major sponsor of Sugar for Kids for the past 4 years. Now, other than having the actual venue, there is nothing else that I foresee that I need from the city. Other than I have also the major of Station 4 Police Department. He contacted me yesterday. Of course, I met with him yesterday. I had a 2 o'clock meeting with him, and he gave me a call after the meeting advising me that it was approved. They will provide me with the officers, and they will provide me with the escort from point A to the racetrack, at which time I had hoped that the city of Homestead would have their officers inside the track for the actual toy drive.
So that's another ask.
Having said that, yes, ma'am. Having said that, I will need some of your officers to be there for this particular venue. Now, because Station 4 is a county-wide, they can go anywhere, I can go back to Commissioner Moss. Out of respect, he had mentioned to me that he didn't think his officers can come here into the Homestead area. And so upon speaking with Major Charles, he said, yes, they can. So I can easily go back to Commissioner Moss and let him know that I need his officers to be inside of the racetrack as well, but that will be entirely left up to you all. Again, I'm just a constituent.
So what I'm trying to do is understand if there's anything additional that you would need from us that will incur a cost, so that we can have a clear understanding of what you are requesting from us besides the facility.
Other than the facility, I've never been actually inside the actual facility, so I don't know if I'm gonna need trash bins there, of course. As a matter of fact, we're bringing out food trucks. We're gonna have, if that's a no-no, we won't deal with them.
See,
listen, I don't know what is
That's
acceptable.
what I'm saying. It's a lot of moving parts for events like this. And technically, I'm not sure what your marketing timeline is, because I'm sure you have to get this information out there, but you can't until it is, if it's passed, approved by the track to ensure that that date and the specific times are available. So potentially what we can do is ask the track if this is even possible or available, and then contingent upon that, then we can have our conversation for approval. You can't get a flat-out approval tonight because we haven't had a conversation with the track. But in the interim, while we ask them if it is available, if you can provide us your packet or any background information that we can read in the interim. I know my esteemed colleague here wanted to read a little bit more about that. So if you can provide that to us while we get a word from the track, if this is even feasible, I think that'll be very helpful.
I think it would be helpful too, as well, Councilwoman Faircloth, if I know what is permissible at the track and what not is permissible, because I recall instantly when I said something about farm share, I saw some eyebrows raised. So if farm share is not supposed to be there, listen.
No, I think they can go there. I think Mayor Shelley wasn't aware that that was a possibility, and he's, as the CEO and the chairman of he didn't want to have any improprieties on acting upon farm share
Sugar for
tonight.
Kids has a contract with Farm Share. I have a contract with Farm Share. And so wherever Sugar for Kids go, if I need them, I request them, and they're there. But again, whatever I am not supposed to have, I want nothing in my way. I want to do everything according to policy. So whatever is not supposed to be there, I don't want it there unless it's the trash bins that we're going to need. Other than that, then I respectfully appreciate you all not being able to give me a yay tonight, because I do know that it needs some thought. But if we can revisit this as early as possible, and the reason for that, because my proposal has to be put together, because I have to go out and beg for money. I got to beg for money for these girls and boys, and you can't beg for money if you can't tell them where your venue is, where you're going to do it at. So I would appreciate it if we can revisit this, you know.
I release the floor, yes.
Thank you. And then I'd asked staff to kind of chime in on here. I know Jason wants to have an input. in this.
Hang on one minute. I want to go to Councilwoman Bailey first and let her go ahead, and then we'll come back to Jason. Follow protocol. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I was going to suggest the same thing. Being one of the newest council members, I know how tedious it is, especially when the city's involved in events. There's just so many details. We want to make sure that everybody's safe and everything goes well. So definitely speak with the track, see what you need. It sounds like an amazing event. I think that the kids will be blown away by having that effect with the cars and being at a racetrack. We need to utilize the amazing racetrack that we have here. I had no idea that we had 12 days. So my mind is not going with all these other things. But anytime.
There's a big expense with it.
I'm sure. I have my card here for you, and if you need help finding any children that would love that experience, I would love to help you with that. So good luck with the track, come back, and I would gladly help out with this event as well.
What, Councilwoman?
We'll work out.
Okay.
Let's go to Mr. King, please, at the request of Mr. Maldonado.
No, I just wanted to suggest, I know there was a date in mind, but perhaps the Sugar for Kids would provide, are there maybe numerous dates that the event could potentially occur? I don't know, Councilman Maldonado, if that date was, I know it's the preferable date.
He's a new guy here. Forgive him. He doesn't know how to use that good.
Maybe an old guy.
Yeah, so anyways.
Old guy with technology.
With that, yes, I think that obviously we have a date set in mind, but of course we need to speak with the track. That would be the preferred date. And then again, we could, if that is not available, then we'd have to have that discussion as well. But I think that's a detail that we could work out between the organization and ourselves.
I have one more.
Yeah.
If you mind. I know that the agreement actually provides that the track has to provide some alternative dates. So they would be responding to you, to Sugar for Kids with those alternative dates.
Excellent.
Or to the city, I should say.
And I know that the Captain Dijon wanted to say one quick thing there. So if he wanted to talk and address the issue of the use of county police officers versus city and inside the track and
Yes,
all that.
Vice Mayor, it's, obviously the county has jurisdiction all over the county, but being that it is a practice that when there is for all intents and purposes, this is an off-duty assignment, we have first right of refusal of anything inside the city. And also keep in mind too that it is a city facility, so to utilize us would probably be the priority. Whereas the county wouldn't normally work something that on a city facility.
Thank you. My suggestion, and Councilman Maldonado, it's your item, so you do as you please. I think that we're maybe a little bit ahead of where we needed to be tonight, but if I was you, I would take Sugar for Kids, yourself, perhaps Mr. King, and whoever the chief deems necessary. Go out there and come up with a game plan so that you can come back to us as early as possible. If we need to have a special call because of times, I think everybody here for such an event would be more than willing to come in for a short special call meeting to facilitate and move things forward. But I think we need to get some more details from them and some more details for, you know, the police and everything that's needed so that we can make a good, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, move it forward, go to them tonight, and I don't think anybody here has said a negative thing or is opposed to it, but, you know, go to the next step.
Yes, and so, again, the purpose of that I asked Jason and staff to kind of bring in information is that, again, and to hear the response of Councilwoman Bailey is that we need to, I wanted everyone to understand that we have the ability to use it. Let's have a discussion about it. This is an organization that approached me. We'll talk about it here. The ask is to move it forward, obviously, and I knew that we were going to be in this position anyway, so that's fine. I like to see it play out. So that's a democracy that we have here. So with that, you've heard it's all positive, it's all good. We'll be meeting again with staff to make sure we iron out the details, and then we will come back to the council as soon as possible. Again, we'll reach out to the track and start working on the date, and then we'll come back to council.
And like I said, I'm sure for
And-
something of this, if you needed to do something before the cow with a special call or something in a couple of weeks, if everything ironed out, I'm sure everybody would be amenable to fill that calendar slot.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mary, for coming in, and thank you for bringing
Oh my
sugar.
goodness. Thank
But
you.
an awesome-
Sugar probably needs to go home and get some rest.
Excuse me? Thank each and every one of you, because a delay is not a denial. So.
No, it's not. We just need to get the details ironed out and make sure that all the moving pieces are in order so that we have a great event. Because if you want to put on an event, there's no, you can't do it halfway. You've got to do it the whole way.
I refuse to
And
do it
there's
halfway.
many moving pieces that need to be put into play and bring the puzzle together. And I think that's what we need to do ASAP, and then we can move forward from there.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Burgess.
welcome.
Thank you all.
And
thank
you
so
have a
much.
website we can look you up on?
Excuse me?
Do you have a website that we can follow your?
No, we have not put it on the website yet. We have one up. Let me show you this.
Okay. Can we give this to the clerk and maybe she can make copies?
Yeah,
And we could
why
all,
don't I give you- I'm gonna leave some literature with you.
Okay.
And I can pick it up from,
okay, that way the clerk could copy it for everybody and distribute it amongst to us. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Councilman Maldonado. You got anything else?
No, that's it for me.
Okay. Who is next? Let me go to my list here. Oh, have at it.
Councilman Maldonado, you've yielded the floor? Okay. Let me go back to Councilwoman Bailey. Had forgotten to say something, so before I forget about her, let's go ahead and go back to her. Go ahead, Councilwoman Bailey.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm sorry, I missed another big event happening tomorrow at FICO Williams. We are having, through the CRA, a small business matchmaker. It will be tomorrow, FICO Williams, between 1:30 and 7 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Roth.
It's been so long, I forgot what I was going to talk about.
Good, let's go.
Just one thing real quick, just to mention that the police department's having their National Night Out October 1st, next Tuesday, from, I believe it's 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., right here at the police department. So I just want to make sure that this is one of the national nights out, and we do it in October, not during the middle of summer when it's so brutally hot out there. So next Tuesday, October the 1st, at the police department from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., and I think they're asking everybody to come out dressed as superheroes. So bring your kids out, enjoy some time with the police department. They got, I'm sure, some food trucks out there and some activities. I'm not sure if they're doing a movie in the park like they've done in the past, but it's Superhero Night at the Homestead Police Department, October 1st, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Guzman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've addressed all our business today.
Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor Burgess.
Thank you. Mayor Cabillos from El Portal and the police chief up there just wanted me to express their thanks for the opportunity to take some of our older police cars and put them out to their city to use as police cars. So thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. I have two items. First is to announce a vacancy on the Southwest Advisory Committee. So anybody that's interested in serving on that committee, I think the clerk will be posting that on the website. It's already on the website. So go up there. You can apply, send in an application as well as your resume. Councilwoman Bailey, you'll be the one that will help make those recommendations back over to me for submission to the rest of the council for approval. And then two, I have a reappointment and appointment to the Education Advisory Committee. One is Virginia Aponte, and then Willie Womble. So do I have a motion? Do I have a second? To approve both items? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes carry. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Moved and second. All in favor say aye. We are adjourned.